Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2. We can hear it.
Close that door for us, please.
Right.
Thank you.
Hey, make a snack. You did.
And we're back here at Blankenship Field, getting set for playoff action here. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge taking on the Rhea County Golden Eagles here in the first round of the TSSAA playoffs. You might be able to hear the train whistle starting to go. The Wildcat roar on the public address system. That means the Wildcats are making their way down the steps, the 72 steps from the top of the hill here at Blankenship Field. Alex Myers now joins me here. Alex, it's always a fun time when the postseason rolls around. I'm kind of disappointed in the crowd right now. It is very small, especially for an Oak Ridge playoff ball game. Maybe the fans thought it was a 7:30 start time, but hopefully they'll get here sooner or later. But I'm excited about this ball game to take on Rhea County. Your thoughts on tonight?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I totally agree with you. The crowd, it's very disappointing, David, especially for a team that they've had some struggles this year, but they put it together of late, coming off a big win, and you could literally not ask for better weather tonight in a playoff game. But as far as the game, David, I'm extremely excited. I've been looking forward to this one all week. It's a game and a real opportunity here to get a win and sort of continue that momentum that really started towards the end of the regular season. And, you know, not to get ahead of ourselves, but, you know, you never know. This is probably Oak Ridge's last home game this year. But, you know, Campbell County, if they were to pull an upset, Oak Ridge could find themselves here again next week. But regardless, David, the team comes out of the tunnel, and it's almost football time.
Let me run down the starters for tonight's ball game. First off, on offense, the Wildcats will start at left tackle. Cooper Williams, he's 6'4", 240-pound sophomore. The left guard will be Parker Searle. The center will be Jermaine Blair. The right guard will be Austin Hill. The right tackle will be Lane Malcody. At wide receiver for the Wildcats tonight, Brandon Hayward, Connor Cummings, and Izzy Mitchell. The running backs for Oak Ridge, Jai Hunley, DeJarvis Dozier. The quarterback will be Ethan Garza. And at times, the Wildcats will have a tight end, and that'll be Brian Kelly. On defense for the Wildcats, the defensive ends for Oak Ridge, Tyler Pickens will be there, 6'4", 230-pound senior. The nose will be Tim Waters. The other defensive end will be Elijah Bradley, coming off of a fine ball game at Campbell County. The linebackers will be Vashawn Knowles, Brian Kelly, and Terrence Anthony, and Grayson Hope. The cornerbacks, Brandon Hayward, Elijah Rogers, Price Davis, and Dallas Frent. The kicker punter will be Brennan Pearson. The extra point man will be David Wilson. The long snapper will be Price Palmer, and the holder will be Nehemiah Elmore. The captains have gone out to the center of the field. The Wildcats have had a lot of flu this week, Alex Myers. In fact, at one time, there were 20 players who did not practice during the week, including 10 starters. Most of them came back to practice for the walkthrough yesterday, but still, you just kind of wonder what their health will be like and how much energy they'll have.
Yeah, it's tough, and this is a team that is no stranger to missing players, missing depth, and especially missing starters and playmakers this year, usually due to injury. This week, as you mentioned, some sickness has been running through the team, and that's something that Coach Cummings talked about publicly as we had the pep rally a couple nights ago and on the coaches shows. And so you just hope that Oak Ridge is back and healthy, and not only that, sometimes if it's something like the flu or something like that, I'm no doctor, but sometimes that can affect your wind, if you will, and even if you're in good condition, that can sort of set you back. So you hope that this is a game where Oak Ridge can just do enough, maybe build a lead and be able to get some guys some rest. But who knows, David? It's tough to say this time of year. It's not a good break, but Oak Ridge has fought through them before, and I'm sure they'll do the same thing again tonight.
The captains are at the center of the field. The Wildcats will be allowing the Rhea County Golden Eagles to receive. In fact, Coach, one of the coaches told me before the game that Coach already decided that if we won the toss, they were going to defer to the second half, which most coaches do. But, with this strange kind of ball control offense, maybe you think about actually have the ball in the second half to start with. And we're just moments away, Alex, from football time here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Mike, before Dave takes the kickoff here, real quickly, as a former player, what does this mean? What is this moment? What's going through these players' mind? Get ready to host a playoff game at Blankenship.
It's a reward for all the hard work they've done, Alex. They've been at it, 10 games now. It's a long, arduous season. We finally got to the playoff. It's great to have a game at home. That's always really big. And, hopefully they can play as well as they have in the last couple of weeks. Particularly last week at Campbell County, I thought they had a very strong performance and a great way to enter the playoffs for 2022 TSSAA playoff season.
Brendan Pearson has the ball down on the tee, and the Wildcats are wearing their all Cardinal jerseys with their gray pants. Kind of a different kind of for the Wildcats. Rhea County standing back at the 10. Brendan Pearson, most of the season, has kicked it into the end zone. Let's see what he can do right here. A strong-legged senior, and we're about to have playoff football here from Blankenship Field. The crowd is filing in. I mean, it's getting bigger. Student section is growing in terms as the officials are waiting for the official word to get things rolling. And we'll have football for you on FM 92.7, FM 94.7, prepradio.com, Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15. We're also streaming this game live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. There's a little bit of a delay here. And while I actually had to raise a little money to get the stream on YouTube. And we'd like to thank some people here. Kevin Faust, Jan West, Elizabeth Stansberry, Sandy Henry, Jim and Tina Trent, Brandon Jones, Susan Steck, Jack Campbell, Heather Hartman, and Andrea Reyes all contributed. The TSSAA, Alex, as you know this, they like to get as much money as they possibly can. They charge $750 to stream a ball game live, and these people donated, and we appreciate them. And it's been a fun time doing the streaming of the ball games, and we appreciate them. Hopefully, we'll just keep on going throughout the playoffs as there's a delay once again. The officials are coming together. The two teams are going to their respective huddles. Alex, nothing like a little bit of a delay to start the ball game.
Nothing like it. It's not a TV game. It's not a I don't know what's going on. I know things are different sometimes because of playoffs. Things happen to be a little stricter from an officiating standpoint, but it's past 7. It's not like we're kicking off early here. I do see Coach Gaddis, the athletics director here at Oak Ridge, on the phone down near the 20-yard line. I wonder if he's maybe in communication with somebody. I don't know if it's a clock issue. Scoreboard looks to be up and running, looks good. But as you know, it's not necessarily the person operating the scoreboard who's operating the clock. It's an official that's doing that. So one can only imagine. We'll see, David. But An interesting uniform choice for Oak Ridge. I'm not sure they've worn this combination before this year. They go with the traditional home tops, but the dark gray pants. What do you think about those?
That's what I said earlier. I was kind of a little a change, and I don't know. I actually would rather see them do the all cardinal, but obviously they are going to have to work on the clock here. Why don't we take a quick timeout? I think we've got a little bit of a sound issue on the stream, I've been told by Coach Barry Saunders. Let's get that taken care of, and we'll be back to Blankenship Field, hopefully with the kickoff following this 60-second timeout.
Dave said something was wrong with the live stream.
So he just came in and they said it sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, what are we doing? I'm getting terrible bleed over from a station playing music.
Really?
So the music is significantly louder than Dave.
Yeah.
So I'm having to. If you see me over here, I'm not just miming stuff. I'm having
Oh,
to
all right. I'll tell you if I need or anything I need to tell you.
Welcome back once again to Blankenship Field. We still have a delay down on the field here, and I don't know if I didn't hear it clearly what he said on the public address announcer. I would assume, as you said, Alex, that it is probably a clock issue, but the clock was running just moments before the two teams got ready, so maybe they're waiting for people to file in to get more of a bigger crowd here for the Wildcat fans who always think it's a 7:30 kickoff.
Well, actually, I see a former crew member of ours, Nick Suttles, sprinting across the field towards the chain gang, and there's nobody accompanying said chains. So I wonder if there was nobody down to do the chains, and that's exactly what Suttles is doing. He and another person clad in cardinal are now picking up the chains. So I think somebody had to save the day. I think we were short on chain gang members. I don't know how that
Nicholas
happened.
L. Ray. Nicholas L. Ray Suttles to the rescue as usual. We're about to get set here. The Wildcat all set down on the tee. The Oak Ridge Wild Band starting to play. The Rhea County Band is in attendance here. Rhea County wearing their all-white jerseys with green helmets and green trim. The Wildcat fans are coming to their feet, a student section wearing all white down below us. And the officials are finally ready, and we're about to have football for you here at Blankenship Field. The winner to play either Campbell County or McMinn County next Friday night at 7 o'clock. Now the officials are ready. We're just a few minutes short from getting underway, and Brennan Pearson, whose grandmother is listening to us somewhere in Illinois, and we appreciate her listening to us, is hopefully going to hit this one into the end zone once we get set. Now the officials are looking at something over at the school. Actually looking at something that is behind
my goodness
as well. I guess they're finding some more people to do the chains. That is unbelievable. The boosters are the ones who supply the chain gang, and I know maybe that was just an oversight on their part, but that's pretty embarrassing.
Well, it is. There's a guy that's coming down from the away locker room side of the field, the north side, and he's sort of jogging his way now to an old Bronx cheer from the Oak Ridge section, and he's got the official's pants on. So I think the officiating crew was running late.
Here's the kick. It's a line, a touchback sailing into the end zone, and we are underway here. Alex, one of the things that Coach Cummings has said to me this week is that the last 3 weeks, this team has been running the I formation. Coach Pemberton has always traditionally ran the wing T, and he wouldn't be surprised if they came out in that today. They haven't really prepared for the wing tee a lot this week. They've prepared for what they've been doing the last three. Caleb was their quarterback 3 years ago, and he's now a receiver. Let's see what they come out with. It'll be interesting to see what formation they do come out as they sprint to the line. They're going to with a wing set. Handoff's going to go to the running back, and he's going to hit the line of scrimmage, move the ball forward for about 12 yards. Wildcats the 32-yard line.
Hey, you called it, David. Exactly. They come out in that funky wing tee throwback football formation, and I think Coach Cummings was onto something. Maybe they're trying to get a little trickery, trying to play some head games, trying to play some chess on the film with Oak Ridge, but I think you're exactly right. It looks like they're going to go back to their roots here.
First down, 10 yards to go after a 12-yard run. The ball is at the Rhea County 32-yard line. The Wildcats stack the line of scrimmage. Handoff goes to the back, and he's once again moving the ball for good yardage around the right guard. He moves the ball up to the 35, up to the 36. They have not prepared much for this wing tee, so it's going to take a little bit of time. Bashan Knowles there on the stop of the Wildcats. 1 minute exactly. Golden Eagles. The fourth time they've played in the playoffs. Here they come to the line once again. It'll be second down towards Jackson Square. They sprint from their huddle up to the line. The quarterback's going to hand it off misdirection. This time the Wildcats drop him around the line of scrimmage. He's able to fall forward to close to the 40-yard line before the stop is made. Davis on the carry for them. The Wildcats, Elijah Rogers there on the stop. It'll be only a yard. Third down, 4 yards to go for. Do you like the way they sprint to the line of scrimmage? They just kind of come from the huddle and sprint to the line of scrimmage. The ball is at the 38-yard line. Here they come. Third down, 4 yards to go. Wearing their all-white jerseys, green helmets. They need 4 yards for a first down. Handoff goes, misdirection. He's got what appears to be close to first down yardage. Depending on the spot, he got the ball up to the 43-yard line, and that should be enough for another Rhea County first down. So nothing fancy about them. Ball control with the wing tee, and I think they have another first down. It is 1st and 10 Rhea County.
Yeah, that's the whole point of that wing tee is a lot of times you may not have the athletes that the opposing team does, but, you know, those athletes can't hurt you if they're on the sideline. So Rhea County is going to be very, very okay, I guess I should say, with just bleeding clock and making this a really fast game, fast on the clock, but slow with their pace and just keeping that clock ticking, limiting the possessions that Oak Ridge has. I think they're perfectly content with doing that.
First down, 10 yards to go. The ball at their own 43-yard line. Handoff goes once again to the back. This time, nothing. He is driven back right at the line of scrimmage. He hit the left side of the Oak Ridge High School football line. Elijah Rogers, Terrence Anthony and company. And it'll be no gain on the play. Half a yard at most. It'll be second down and 9 yards to go.
And that's what Oak Ridge is going to do is they're going to have to force Rhea County to prove that they're willing to go with the air attack and willing to try to stretch things outside. At this point, Rhea County has not really done that, but they haven't had to at the start of this drive. If Oak Ridge stops them here, forces a third and long, you may see Rhea County have to, whether they want to or not, expand the playbook a little bit and get to a position where they're not as comfortable.
Second down, 9 yards to go. Mankeb's in motion. Handoff goes to the fullback. He is hit. Moves the ball forward for a gain of about 2. There is a flag down on the play. We might have a little motion. People are telling me that we're a little bit out of sync on the stream. I don't understand that. That's happened to us before. We'll try to work on that when we get an opportunity here. Officials are discussing things here. 8 minutes, 19 seconds to play. It is indeed a Rhea County. False start for the Golden Eagles. The ball back at the 39-yard line. 8 minutes, 19 seconds to play. First quarter playoff action here at Blankenship Field. Crowd is not big here at Blankenship Field. Here it's not bad, but it's for a playoff ball game. It really doesn't look like a playoff game, and it's very, very quiet, actually. Ball's at the 39-yard line. Rhea County has it now. Second down, 14 yards to go. Double wing set. Quarterback's going to hand it off, misdirection. He moves the ball up the field close to the 50-yard line. They haven't practiced against this, but we have another flag down on the play, and I think we're going to have another illegal procedure call against the Golden Eagles. I think there were a lot of people moving. They have not run this offense for the last 3 weeks, and maybe they're a little bit out of sync.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the point I was going to make. It's a good point, David, is that, as much as Oak Ridge may not be quite in practice against this defense or against this offense, Rhea County is probably a little rusty, almost as if they're coming off a couple of bye weeks because they really haven't been doing this. And so as funky of an offense it is, it's not quite like riding a bike where you just hop on and start riding again. This offense, there's a lot of details to it. There's a lot of timing involved into it. If you're not in practice and in sync, you can often get flagged like they have so far.
Misdirection once again. He moves the ball up the field. They gain 8 or 10 yards fumbling in the football, though. See if the Wildcats can recover it at the 45-yard line. Coach Alex Stewart says we've got it, but the pile is saying something different. Actually, it'll be Rhea County maintaining possession as they move the ball up to the 40-yard line. It'll be for them 3rd down, 9 yards to go. The misdirection, the Wildcats are having trouble finding the football. They're moving right to left here. The ball 44-yard line, 7:25 to play. We're in the first period here at Blankenship Field. Playoff action here. Glad you've tuned in wherever you might be. We'll work on the stream. They say it's about a playoff. The sync is not quite right with the audio. We'll get that taken care of. Here they come to the line. 7:09 to play. 3rd down, 9 yards to go. Handoff goes to number 20. Moves the ball to the Oak Ridge sidelines. Pushed out of bounds at around the 49. And that's going to be short of a 1st down. It'll be 4th down facing Rhea County. And let's see what Coach Pemberton elects to do. 7 minutes, 1 second to play here in the first period. It's 4th down and 3 yards to go. The ball right at midfield, Alex.
Yeah, it's a big play in the game, or I know it's early, but this is a big play because if Rhea County doesn't get this, Oak Ridge is already on the plus side of the field, meaning they're in Rhea County territory. Ball at the 41-yard line. This is a big play early on. Could be a huge momentum grab for Oak Ridge if they can stop them here.
From the 49-yard line, now they're going to call a timeout. Let's take it with them. No score, just underway from Blankenship Field. 7:01 to play first quarter. We'll be back to Blankenship Field in 30 seconds. Back once again to Blankenship Field. I guess Rhea County wanted to see how Oak Ridge was going to line up, and I guess they'll probably send the punter out here. I think a ball control offense would like to make other team drive the ball down the field. They've got it. 4th down, 4 yards to go, 7:01 to play. The ball is at the 49-yard line. Let's see what they do. They don't look like they're in punt formation, Alex.
No, they definitely are not in punt formation. They're going go for it, David.
It'll be 4th go. They sprint to the line. They have a double wing set once again. There's movement again. The handoff goes to the back. He's going to be hit the line. No place to go, but down, baby, at the 50.
It was a great play by Price Davis, who he didn't make the tackle, but he was the one who forced the ball carrier to sort of hesitate and try to bounce it outside. And by the time Price missed the tackle, but by the time the ball carrier was able to sort of get his wits back about him, Brandon Hayward, amongst other Wildcat defensive backs, were all around him. He had no shot to get that. Oak Ridge's defensive line did a really good job as well, stretching the Rhea County offensive line out, not allowing them to really get any push. And all of a sudden, Oak Ridge just got it right at the 50-yard line.
Garza is the quarterback. He's only had 1 day of practice this week. He's been out with the and he's going to hand it off on the first play of the game, and the Wildcats are going to get back to the line of scrimmage. That is Travis Dozier coming into this game. Obviously a great year. He comes in with 1,400 career yards. That's 30th best record. He has an opportunity to go over 1,000 tonight if he has a big night. Gain of, we'll call it 2 yards on the play. Second down, 8 yards to go. Ball is at the 48-yard line of Rhea County, just underway. Ethan's going to pass. Pass is going to be complete. Wildcats have a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down and more as they move the ball. Started every ball game. Alex Myers has just gone over 1,000 yard. He's 9, and he does. Yard line, 5:50. First quarter, the winner to take on the winner of McMinn County and Campbell County going on tonight down in Athens. Wildcats with the slot man to the right, 2 receivers to the right side. Handoff goes Dozier. Dozier hits the line, moves the ball to around the 30-yard line. The play. And we'll call it a yard. Wildcats pick up the ball. Here in front of us as we're broadcasting field on 0.7 and other outlets of yards of the junior quarterback, 1 lone running back. The Wildcats have after 15-10, 5 touch. Bridge take the lead. Nothing with 4 minutes and play here in the first quarter, and the Wildcats will go for the
Great play that time by the Wildcats. Gardner just handed the ball right off to him, right? He went right up the middle, untouched. Tremendous drive by the Wildcats. Put the first 6 points in the night on the board. Extra point forthcoming.
Bryce Paul, long snapper. The holder will be Nehemiah to attempt the extra. 6-0 our score. Wildcats 4:55 to play. So the gamble to go dividends for the Wildcats. The kick is on its way. It's up, and it is good. 7-0 Wildcats. 4 minutes, 55 seconds to play in the first quarter. We'll be back to Blankenship in seconds.
Thank you.
Here's the kickoff by Brennan Pearson. It bounces at the 1-yard line, comes back to the 5. It's returned up to around the 15-yard line, and that is where Rhea County will have it. First down, 10 yards to go. 4 minutes, 48 seconds to play first quarter. County dominated the time for sure. Saw them go for it at midfield. Wildcats just 3 plays later are in the end zone. 7-0 Wildcats here. To the line. They ran the wing tee on their first possession. Let's see what they do here. Same formation. Handoff goes misdirection. They move the ball forward to around the 17-yard line before the stop is made by the Wildcats. Looks like Elijah Rogers. Jarius Hunley was around the play and ain't on the play. We'll call it 2 yards. Second down, 8 yards to go. Ball is at the 18-yard line. Rhea County moving right to left here. Playoff game here at Blankenship Field. Not a great crowd, as we've said. Hopefully more people are going to file in. Double wing set once again. Handoff goes to the fullback, and he's got good running room. He moves the ball to close to first down yardage and beyond it to the 26-yard line, and that is indeed a first down. It is so hard. If you have not practiced against the wing tee, if you have not practiced against it, they're going to say it's a little bit short. My apologies to that. They're going to put it down officially. Indeed a first down. I thought it was. Volunteer chain gang down there. Unfortunately, they're not experienced as they're just now moving the chains. The ball is at the 26-yard line, right towards Jackson Square. Quick handoff goes to the fullback once again. He moves the ball to the 30-yard line. Pushed back by the Wildcats at that point. Guys, if you haven't faced the wing tee in practice, and we did not face it in practice this week, we prepared for the eye, which they've been running the last 3 weeks. It is very, very difficult as we're learning here in the first quarter.
It absolutely is, and one of the things you mentioned that's really ringing true is not only is it an offensive scheme that's hard to prepare for within a couple of days, but the running backs and how they use them, they kind of squat. They're not big guys to begin with, but then they sort of squat in their stances as they start to stand up. So once they get the ball, it's really hard to locate them behind the line of scrimmage really until they've already broken through the line.
Right there is an example of that as the fullback hits the line hard and moves the ball across the 35-yard line. He's tackled officially at the 36. It'll be for Rhea County. Third down, about 1 yard to go for a first. 2 minutes, 32 seconds to play first quarter. Terrence Anthony on the stop for the Wildcats. 7-0 Oak Ridge. The Wildcats scoring on a touchdown run from DeJavis Dozier. Ball is at the 36-yard line. They're in no hurry. The play clock is down to 21. Ball control offenses are kind of scary in playoff ball games as they rush to the line once again. Once again, they'll come with the double wing, one lone running back, the fullback, and the quarterback sneaks the ball forward for a first down. He's tackled at the 39-yard line. It's just kind of like helter-skelter down there, Alex, as they just come to the line and then they just push the line forward.
Yeah, it looks like if you've ever gone to a beach with kids, and they take the little boogie boards is what we used to call them, and you're just sort of riding a wave. That's what the quarterback did right there. A normal quarterback sneak, the quarterback sort of tries to weasel his way and find a hole between the guards and the center. That time they snapped the ball. The quarterback almost quite literally just jumped on the back of his center, and the two guards in the center combined just sort of drove forward, and he just sort of rode them like a wave 2 or 3 yards downfield until he hit the ground.
From the 39-yard line, handoff this time. Boom! He's blasted in the backfield. The Wildcats get penetration this time, and they drop him back at the 36-yard line. Davis on the carry once again with the stop. Nice play, Oak Ridge.
Yeah, Vashon is such a knack. He's such a good athlete, and he's so lean playing that the outside backer, almost defensive end hybrid position, that he's so much quicker than almost any offensive lineman that tries to block him. And 2 or 3 times a game, it seems like he really shows that explosiveness and quickness on the outside. That time he shot through the gap, just about beat the ball carrier to the handoff.
Second down, 13. This time the running back is hit and is going to go down right at the 40-yard line. They had him at the line of scrimmage, but they couldn't get him down. He was able to pick up the lost yardage on that last play. Brendan Hayward there on the stop for the Wildcats. It'll bring up third down facing the Golden Eagles. The ball is right at the 40-yard line. Third down, and it looks like about 9 yards to another playoff. 2 seconds on the game clock. Seconds on the play clock. So obviously they do not have quarter. Rhea County 7-0. We'll be back to Blankenship Field in 60 seconds.
Thank you.
See what it did? I mean, it's very subtle. It's in control, and then you got to move the mouse. Yeah. No, go on. Yeah, it's because
So it's not just me. You're having a hard time hearing him too.
Oh, yeah, he's breaking up. Sometimes I don't hear him at all.
Okay, I'm glad it's not just me. Okay, thanks.
David, there's been a huge contrast in style of play from last week at Campbell County to here. Last week, as we all know, they only rushed the ball 5 times, and I think Rhea County's already rushed the ball 10 times here in the first quarter. Wildcats leading 7-0 early on.
Just you and him. I can't hear. Just you
I
and
can't either. We went back to an ad. Now we're back on an ad. I don't know what's wrong. Really short kick.
Jai Hunley on the carry right there. It brings up 2nd down and 10 as he got really no gain right there. As we'll try to get David Clary back in here momentarily.
Gain of 5 on the play for the 10 yards to go. Garza's pass is going to be intercepted. And immediately the tackle is made right at the 45-yard line. Connor Cummings makes the play. And that's one of the kind of fears that we've had, actually. How strong would Garza be, as that guy was just kind of standing there waiting for it, and he picked it off, and they've got good field position. Not a great pass, but a great play by Rhea County.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Garza really has not really been turnover prone in his starts here with Oak Ridge, as Alexander Yeager makes the pick for Rhea County. And, you know, that's something, maybe not having a full week of practice. Maybe he's a little rusty. Like you said, maybe the arm strength's not quite there if he's been fighting illness. Tough break, though, and now Rhea County comes out, and you need to ask your defense for a big stop.
10 yards to go, hand off to the back, and he moves the ball to the 40-yard line. Very small gain of about a yard or so. You're right about the turnovers. The Wildcats have not really, since maybe the Greenville ball game, really had much turnover issues. It'll be Oak Ridge's Tyler Pickens there on the stop for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge has hope in the ball game. The Wildcats have Elijah Bradley. Tim Waters is in the middle part of that line. The anchor linebacker in the middle is Brian Kelly. The secondary, we've got Dallas Frent, Elijah Rogers. They don't seem to – they used to be able to pass when he was quarterback years ago, and they'll take every second of the clock off. It'll be second down and 9 yards to go from the Oak Ridge 40. Quarterback hands it to the running back.
Touchdown.
5, and we can. Elijah Rogers grabs him right at the goal line. It'll be first down, goal to go for the Rhea County Golden Eagles. So a turnover by the Wildcats is going to give them an opportunity to get back into the ball game with 9:35 to play. The Wildcats have got to be a little bit more cognizant of who's got the ball. I know it's hard. I've said that over and over and over, but you've got to stay in your lanes. You've got to keep an eye on the ball as Rhea County to the line, trying to get back into the ball game here. They trail 7-0. Rhea County quarterback sneaks the ball forward into the end zone. That is a touchdown for Rhea County. It comes with 9 minutes, 18 seconds to play. Half, and a turnover by the Wildcats pays dividends for the Rhea County Golden Eagles, and they can tie it right here with the extra point.
You know, sometimes, David, the scariest play if you're a defensive coordinator, when you're running against an offense like this where they have all this motion, their guys going left, guys going right as the field goes up and good, sometimes the hardest play to defend is the one right up the middle because you have so much going on. It's the easiest place to forget.
7-7 our score, 9 minutes, 18 seconds to play here in the first half. We'll be back to Blankenship Field with a kickoff in 60 seconds. David Clary back here. There's Mike Sheehan, along with Cody Jordan. We've got Andy Hudson. We've got Josh Frazier, Alex Baraxa, and Wildcat. We also have Drew Thomas as the Golden Eagles were tied at 7, 9 minutes, 18 seconds to play. Kind of a, I'm going to say it again, just a sparse crowd. Very disappointed in our Oak Ridge turnout of fans here as the ball is put down on the tee. Around the 26-yard line, and let's see, either take it at the 35 or will they force them to kick it off once again? It looks like we're going to take it at the 35-yard line. 9 minutes, 18 seconds to play. The Wildcats have scored, I believe it was, of the game on a run by the Wildcats, led to their score. And Alex, 7-7 our score.
Yeah, Oak Ridge has to sort of respond now. Oak Ridge hasn't, you know, they took that early lead, and so their offense hadn't really had the pressure on them. And while you're not behind or anything, all of a sudden you start to think, okay, after a turnover last possession, offense sort of has a little pressure for the first time all game to really start to make something happen. And immediately, something we didn't see all last week is a mistake that we saw earlier in the year, which is after a possession change or out of a timeout, Oak Ridge is going to get flagged and start 1st and 15 because of a delay of game.
Have the ball now at the 30-yard line. 10 seconds to play. The Wildcats 2 receivers, actually 3 to the right. Wildcat handoff goes to the back and coming around. Now at around the, and we have a late hit. We're going to be hit on Rhea County. The Wildcats carry the ball with Almani Rimbert, but I think we're going to have a late hit.
Yeah, it's exactly what the back judge came back and saw it, and I think it's the right call, and it was a pretty easy call right on that Rhea County sideline as Rimbert made a nice play to get a lot of that big chunk of that yardage lost, and it was going to be about 2nd and 7 or so, and instead it's going to be a first down, a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down, as the chains will move. It's a 15-yard penalty, and Oak Ridge advances the ball beyond midfield to the Golden Eagle 48-yard line.
Elijah Rogers, Connor Cummings, and Albert split to the right side. Single man here to the left side, Brandon Hayward. Jai Hunley is the running back for the Wildcats. DeJavis Dozier kind of banged up his shoulder last week in the Campbell County ball game as Garza is going to take a high snap, hand it off to his running back.
Go!
Wildcats. Taking the score, 8 minutes, 50 play here in the first half.
Just a great run that time by John Hunley. He broke right through the middle of the line, and what tremendous speed that young man had. He literally pulled away from everybody. 48-yard score to put the Wildcats back in the lead, 13-0, 8:59 left here in the first half.
10th touchdown of the year for Jai Hunley, and the Wildcats back on top 13-7, and they're going to go for 2 and into the end zone. Will go the Wildcats, and Oak Ridge completes the 2-point conversion, and they lead it 15-7. Rhea County had to see that on tape. Obviously not. 15-7 Oak Ridge. We'll be back with the Oak Ridge kickoff in 60 seconds.
Who scored on that conversion, Fallon? Who scored that conversion?
Hayward.
Oh, Hayward. Thank you.
To him, you're saying 31 now. There we go.
Along with Oak Ridge football boosters, the Blankenship Revitalization Foundation, Tim Isbell, the banker, you and Mark Tyler, so you win Blankenship Field in preparation for tonight's game.
That a direct snap to him.
Direct snap, yeah.
Thank you. I thought it was.
Number 12, the Taylor Mark.
Pearson to kick. That's 15-7 the score. The Wildcats back on top. Pearson's kick is
Good kick.
it almost looked like Oak Ridge defense, not aware, but Jai just the linebackers. There was no defense. Will come the Golden Eagles once again. There'll be first down, 10 yards to go. The ball's at the 20-yard line. 8 minutes, 58 seconds to play here in the first half. 15-7. The Wildcats are in the lead. Rhea County sprints to the line of scrimmage. Quarterback forward for a gain of 1 or 2. Not much more than that is hit at the line. Brian Kelly was there for the stop, along with, looks like, LaMichael Galloway and one other Wildcat. It'll be maybe Pickens. It'll be a gain of 3 officially. Second down, 7 yards to go. 8:37 to play. here in the second quarter. The Wildcats on top 15-7 in a game that is just flying on by. At halftime, Aaron Green, head coach of the Oak Ridge basketball team, is going to be joining Alex to talk about the upcoming season and practice, which began on Monday, and the season begins 11 days from today. Second down, 7 yards to go. The ball's at the 23-yard line. Their backs to Jackson Square. Wing T formation, handoff, misdirection this time up the right guard side, and they move the ball across the 25-yard line where the stop is made by Terrence Price Davis, number 10. It'll be the Golden Eagles, third down facing them. Third down and 3 yards to go. Ball's at the 27-yard line. 7:39 and counting. They use every second off of the play clock here. And they want it to be a short game because obviously with the wing T, it's a ball control offense. I guess they feel they can't throw the ball. Third down, 3 yards to go. At the 27-yard line, the Wildcats need a stop right here. Here's the handoff to the back, and they're not going to get it. He's going to move the ball up to the 30-yard line, and that's enough for a first down. Incidentally, the 2 touchdowns Ridge are sponsored by the Oak Ridge High School class of 1989. They've been with us all season long. Every touchdown is sponsored by the class of '89. Wing T is a misdirection. They're trying to fool you on every play, and so far the Wildcats have struggled. Coach Cummings told me that on the fly they might have to just make some adjustments to defend it, and that's what they're going to probably have to do. They're going to go back to, when they go to the dressing room, have to work on that and different alignments because they didn't practice it all week long getting ready for this game. First and 10, ball's at the 31-yard line. Quarterback's going to hand it off to the back, and he is going to be tackled by the Wildcats after a gain of about a yard. The stop is made by Oak Ridge's Jeremiah Holman, I guess. He's playing a little linebacker for the Wildcats. And looks like that is the case. The Wildcats' Dallas Frent perhaps might have been in there as well. Nope, it's Price Davis actually looking at who got up slowly. Gain of 3, second down 7, 6:14 to play. We're in the first half, 15-7. The Wildcats in the lead as we broadcast here on FM 92.7, FM 94.7, prepradio.com, and Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15, streaming on the internet. Under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Here comes Rhea County, handoff to the back, and he moves the ball forward and tackled at around the 37-yard line. It'll be once again short of a first down, but they've been getting the third and shorts. It'll be Oak Ridge's Vashawn Knowles there on the stop. Ball's at the 34-yard line. It is once again third down, a little longer this time. Third down, we'll call it 3.5 yards to go for a first. 15-7 Wildcats here in this playoff game. The winner to advance to play either McMinn County or Campbell County, and we'll check those scores coming up at halftime. They come to the line, the 37-yard line of Rhea County. They sprint to the line as usual. Third down and 3. Quarterback hands it to the back, and he's hit at the line and moves the ball forward. He is shy of the yardage needed for a first down. It'll be fourth down facing the Golden Eagles. Fourth down, we'll call it 1.5 yards, and let's see what Coach Pemberton elects to do here. The last time he went for it around this time, they didn't get it. The Wildcats scored 3 plays later. Coach Pemberton has been coaching of football a long, long time. Football has changed a great deal. It's a long yard. It's more like 2 yards here for the first down. They're going to milk the clock all the way down to 17 seconds. Let's see if they call another timeout like they did before. They're not getting there quickly, I can tell you that. We're down to 9 seconds. They usually sprint at about 5 seconds. We're down to 5 seconds on the play clock, and they're just going to call a timeout. You know, if you don't trust your athletes to win football games, I guess this is the only way you can. They do call a timeout. We'll take it with them. 15-7 Oak Ridge. We'll be back in. We'll go back to Blankenship Field, hand off to the running back, and before that, play is halted. I believe we're going to have another penalty on the play. 4 minutes, 16 seconds to play. We're in the first half. The Wildcats on top, 15-7. Dead ball foul. It's going to be a legal procedure called against the Golden Eagles. That'll be a 5-yard step off. They'll bring the punt team in. So they had it about 3 yards, but now they're going to have to punt it. The ball's put back at the 34-yard line. 4 minutes, 16 seconds to play in the second quarter. Brandon Hayward standing back at the 35-yard line. Punt formation for the Golden Eagles. 4th down, 7 yards to go. 15-7 Wildcats. Snap, punt. Better punt this time. Brandon backs up on it, fields it at the 25, then fumbles it. And let's see who's got it. The Wildcats, Brandon Hayward recovers it right at around the 25-yard line. The Wildcats have had some troubles doing that this year. It'll be Oak Ridge offense onto the field. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go. The ball 4-yard line. It'll be for the Wildcats. The ball is at the 34-yard line. 27-yard line. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go. 3 minutes, 58 seconds to play here in this first half. 15-7 is the score. Quarterback is Ethan Garza. The Wildcats have a tight formation. For the Wildcats, Brandon Hayward comes in motion way to the right side. Quarterback Garza is going to pitch it out to Dozier. Dozier moves the ball forward for about a yard. Push back at that point. It'll be for the Wildcats, second down and 10 yards to go. 3:45 to play first half. 15-7 is our score here from Blankenship Field. Ball is in the second quarter. The ball is at the 27-yard line. Dozier in the backfield. Wildcats have Will Presley split out to the left side. Will's one of those guys walking ill this week. Went to the walk through yesterday, but did not practice. The Wildcats have 3 receivers split to the right. Second down, 10 yards to go. 3:19 to play first half. It'll be the handoff on the right side. The Wildcats need some blocking. Didn't get much there. The Wildcats can't get around the corner. It'll be third down and long facing the Wildcats.
David, I expect you to just probably see some sort of run here or very, very safe pass like a screen, because the difference is if you're facing a normal team, you may not be so conservative, but the way Rhea County plays, they're not going to be able to go up and down the field in a minute and a half because of their style of offense. So if you just milk this clock to under 2 minutes, a minute and a half, Rhea County's probably not going to be able to really be a threat to score. So I would just, you don't want to concede a first down here and have to punt, but I think that's probably the smart thing to do, and I think that's probably what Oak Ridge will do.
Third down, 10 yards to go. Garza's going to pass. Looks long, looks deep. Passes there. Pass is overthrown. Brandon Hayward in the middle part of the field kind of ran into a little congestion there and wasn't able to get the pass. It'll be for the Wildcats. Fourth down, 10 yards to go. And indeed, they will punt with 2 minutes and 23 seconds to play in the first half, and Brennan Pearson will come into the ball game. Alex?
Yeah, well, in one aspect, I don't like that call for the reasons I just said, because now you give them a little more time to work with it. But at the same time, can't really fault Coach Cummings for that play call because it was there. The play was there to be made. Hayward was open. If that pass is just a little bit thrown, but just a little bit better, a little bit shorter, or maybe a little more air under it, Hayward may still be running.
Fourth down, 10 yards to go. Here comes a long punt by Brennan Pearson over the return man's head. It's going to be rolling all the way down past the 20-yard line. Great punt by Brennan. It'll be first and 10 for the Golden Eagles. What a really nice punt there by Brennan Pearson.
Yeah, really good punt. Got it to turn over. And once it went over his head, you just saw almost a little bit of disbelief, it looked like, from the return man, as he just clearly was not expecting that to go as far as it did. And by the time he sort of turned around to try to go play catch-up, Oak Ridge's up men or up backs, if you will, were downfield and he had no shot to try to return that. And thankfully, it took a little bit of an Oak Ridge roll inside, just inside the 20-yard line for Rhea County.
It's down 10 yards to go. The ball is at the 20. Quarterback's going to hand it off this time. Not much there. In fact, they're going to try to get away, and the Wildcats are going to sack him all the way back at the 5-yard line. Good defensive play by Oak Ridge. He kind of rolled to his right. There was no place to go. Great defensive play there by the Wildcats.
And I'd call a timeout if I was Coach Cummings. I would have called a timeout right there. And I think Oak Ridge is going to let about 10 seconds run off, but I think that's the right decision, David, is to go ahead and call that timeout, because a team backed up like this, they're going to run the ball 2 more times. There's no doubt about it. And so the likelihood of them converting this 25 yards away is very unlikely. Give your offense a chance to maybe put some more points on if you can get a stop here.
It'll be second down, 23 yards to go. While I have the opportunity, I'd like to thank Kevin Faust, Jan West, Elizabeth Stansberry, Sandy Henry, Jim and Tina Trent, Brandon Jones, Susan Steck, Jack Campbell, Heather Hartman, Andrea Reyes for helping us out with our stream. And I know we're struggling a little bit with our stream tonight. Things happen sometimes, but we appreciate them allowing us to broadcast the game on our YouTube channel. Coming up at halftime, Mike Sheehan will have the scoring summary. Mark and Shauna Hayes will have the statistics, and Coach Aaron Green will come up to talk to us about Oak Ridge High School basketball. 15-7, the Wildcats in the lead, 1:53 to play here in the first half, and the Golden Eagles are backed up at their own 6-yard line.
Yeah, real opportunity for Oak Ridge here. You know they're going to run the ball, but again, the one thing that makes this sort of team dangerous is if you expect the run and if you stack the box, a play like that happened earlier where if they break through and get past the linebackers, a lot of times there's nobody home. So you want to commit to the run here, but you got to be a little bit safe.
They are going to run the ball, but not for much. They're going to get the ball to the 10-yard line to the 11, and the Wildcats will call another timeout. It'll now be third down and about 20 yards to go. Why don't we take a quick timeout with them? We'll be back to Blankenship Field in 30 seconds.
Took about a quarter of what we did.
David Clary back here at Blankenship Field. The game to take on the winner of Campbell County and the McMinn County Cherokees. Updates. We'll let Mike handle that a little bit later on in our halftime performance here. Our halftime show sponsored by the Fox Insurance Group. 1:40 here in the first half, 15-7. We started out slow with a long delay, but we've sure caught up.
Yeah, David, it's been a little bit of a dull first half. It's not the most exciting because of the style of game that it's been played, just sort of running the clock, running the ball. But, hey, I don't really care how you play. I don't care if you run it every time, if you take a knee every time. I don't care what you do. If Oak Ridge is on top at the end of the game, that's really all I care about. And right now, Oak Ridge is on top. And if they get a third down stop here, it could be a threat to score again before half with 1:46 on the clock with this 3rd and 17 upcoming.
Handoff goes to the back, and he's going to be hit and tackled at around the 16-yard line. It will be 4th down, and the Wildcats will use their final timeout. So Rhea County, they don't throw the ball. I mean, it's just really surprising to me because the guy was the quarterback 2 years ago when we played him down at Rhea County. The good news is we're going to get great field position, barring just a phenomenal punt. You got to go back to Brennan Pearson's punt. His punt kind of backed them up that way, and then their first down play was absolutely horrible, and the Wildcats should have great field position.
There's a big, huge contrast between this week's game and last week's game, David, because last week all Campbell County wanted to do was pass the ball, not run it. Tonight, just the opposite. Rhea County wants to run the ball all the time and not throw it. So the Oak Ridge Wildcats have adjusted on defense now, seem to stopping the run much better than they did in the first quarter and lead this game now 15-7. 1 minute and 40 seconds left here in the first half.
And Brandon Hayward will be standing back at around the 50-yard line. He got a good punt off the last time, backed it up, and then he actually fumbled it but fell on it. They'll be punting from their own end zone or close to it. It's 4th down, 13 yards to go. You don't want to kind of rough the punter here, so I'd be surprised if they try to block it, although it would be an opportunity to get the ball inside the 5. They're punting from the 4-yard line, 4th and 13, 15-7 Oak Ridge, 1:40 to play. Snap is good, punt is terrible. It's going to go bounding at around the 50-yard line. Take a pretty good bounce, though, for Rhea County and roll dead at the 40. And that Ridge will take over. 1st down, 10 yards to go. Clock keeper let it run off about 3 extra seconds, but that's okay. See what the Wildcats can do here. They have no more timeouts. They used them all to get the ball back in great field position. 1:28 to play here. 15-7 Wildcats. One turnover led to a score for Rhea County. The Wildcats have scored on long runs, one by DeJavis Dozier and the other by Ajay Hunley. Rhea County Band will be performing at halftime. They're poised to come onto the field. The Oak Ridge Wild Band as well. 1st down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the Oak Ridge 42-yard line. 1:27 to play here in the second period. 2 receivers to the right, 1 lone man to the left. Ethan Garza to pass, goes across the way. Elijah Rogers, and he makes the opportunity to make a great catch and take it into the end zone for the Wildcats. Elijah Rogers with a sideline pass, and Elijah Rogers and the Wildcats will have it. 1st down after the 10 bank of Oak Ridge. 1st down. The ball is at the 35-yard line. Nice pass, nice catch. Thought he was going to distance, but he didn't.
Yeah, it was at the 24-yard line. It was an incredible, really nice throw, but an incredible catch. Every inch of his fingertips to pawl that one in, and unfortunately his momentum just carried him out of bounds, or he would have had a touchdown.
Wildcats trying to run the ball there. We'll get nothing. 1:14 to play. It'll be 2nd down and about 10 yards to go. We're down to 1:09 to play. Brennan Pearson field goal range for sure. Even David Wilson field goal range. The Wildcats can't take a lot of time here. It'll be 2nd down for the Wildcats, 11 yards to go, under a minute to play. Ball's at the 25-yard line. Garza rolls to his right, looks to pass, fires it across the way. Pass is caught, and then the tackle is made at the 19-yard line, and that is a hard tackle, and the Wildcat is hurt. I don't think he had any idea the guy was on the ground there, and he basically just tripped him.
Yeah, a really dangerous play there. Nothing illegal, but essentially the guy just teed off on Almani Rembert as he was coming across. Almani was looking back towards the right side, across his right shoulder, looking back for that throw, and Garza put it on him, but the defensive back saw it coming, couldn't make a play on the ball, so instead he just sort of almost like a chop block action, David, where he goes down towards the knee area, and Coach Cummings immediately gave him some words, and by him I mean Ethan Garza. You gotta watch out for your receiver. Thankfully, I think it was more of a scare or anything, because Almani's already up, but Coach Cummings immediately was having some words with Ethan. That's a tough place to put a wide receiver.
And Brian Leffler, the Oak Ridge trainer, assists him off the field, but he's okay. I agree with you. Clock will start immediately as the ball is put down. Rhea County's back out on the field. 3rd down, 5 yards to go. Ethan Garza with 46.3 seconds to play here in the first half. Oak Ridge on top, 15-7. Clock should move here, and it does. Garza 5, rolls to his left this time, looks, middle of the field, pass is there. Pass is going to be batted around. It's going to be incomplete.
Yeah, that's
Here's
how
the
he had
intended
some guys
receiver.
underneath.
It's now
He had
4th down
Jai
and 5
Hunley
yards to
coming out of
go.
the
I think they're in
background.
field goal range here if that's what they elect to do. It's 4th down, 5 yards to go. And indeed, the field goal team will come onto the field for the Wildcats. Let's see if it's David Wilson. I believe it will be David Wilson to attempt as they put the block down right at the 25-yard line. This will be a 35-yard field goal for the Wildcats, leading Rhea County 15-7, 37.4 seconds to play in the first half. The holder is Nehemiah Elmore. The long snapper is Price Palmer. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way. He doesn't hit it well. It's no good. 32 seconds to play here in the first half, and they'll take over on downs.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that Oak Ridge doesn't take advantage of that, because Garza, they're going to look at the film. He may not have seen him, but Ethan Garza had Jai Hunley wide open underneath, and he would have, I think, fairly easily picked up that first down inside the 15-yard line, and Oak Ridge would have been able to reset the chains with about 40 seconds or so to go, but didn't happen, and the field goal was off on that one, and you're still going to go to the lead with or halftime, with an 8-point lead. So hard to complain too much, but unfortunately a little bit of a missed opportunity for Oak Ridge.
Unless they were to score right here, the quarterback's going to hand it off to the back, and they're not going to score right here. And I know them. They're not going to stop the clock. They're just going to tick it on down. So we're going to reach halftime here. As Alex Myers said, the Wildcats are going to be on top 15-7. Alex, just your overall thoughts of the first half.
Well, it's not a really pretty first half of football, but, it's never going to be when you play a team with this style. Even at the college level, when much more talented teams play in a Georgia Tech back in the day, or a Navy, or one of the academies, if you will, that run this funky style of run-heavy offense, a lot of times those games are closer than you would think they're going to be because they just muddy the game up. So not a pretty first half, but I wouldn't expect that against this sort of team. But I was really impressed with how quickly Oak Ridge's defense adjusted, having not really prepared a ton, as you mentioned, for this style of offense. They bent a little bit a couple times, but only one time did they break, and it really wasn't a drive even. It was just a one singular long run. So, again, I think, David, my thoughts are the biggest thing I take is how quickly Coach Ayers' defense adjusted to this style of play.
And the Wildcats will be receiving the second half kick. We're about to have a scoring summary. Mike Sheehan will take
We're getting ready to go to break, so after that, so about 3 minutes.
to the Oak Ridge boys basketball team. He'll be up to talk about the basketball. Tuesday, and I'll get a word from her real quick. Candidacy, excited about it.
Well, I love Oak Ridge, and I love the historic Oak Ridge, and I'm here to help protect people's rights to have wholesome neighborhoods and for their property values to be taken care of. I'm the only candidate who lives in the historic neighborhood that is in decline, and for that reason, a vote for me is a vote for you, Oak Ridge. I love Oak Ridge.
Thanks a lot. It's you allowing it.
Joshua Mitchell and Chloe Smith. This show is entitled Right in the Darkness. The second section, please. My song is no, we can go.
Fix this.
Call out for
Third period.
I see the light in the tangle.
Does he want me to do the summary when we come back?
You what?
Does he want me to do the summary after we
I
come
think
back
we're going
to
to talk to
this
Coach Green, then we'll do the summary and stats with Mark.
That's fine.
No, you're good. I'll just get you to switch with Mike for a minute.
I'll get out of here.
Drum major, Steve, your band's ready.
Let me switch back.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Rhea County High School
Mics are on though, so just. Am I wrong? That's what they look like.
touch any of that. It's real finicky. Can you be looking at those scores, especially the McMinn County, Campbell County ones?
Oak Ridge basketball is 11 days away from their opening game against York Institute, and we are making our plans to cover every game once again this season. As in the past, we'll have commercial sponsors on the radio, but we're also looking for individual game sponsors. Last season, many Oak Ridge fans sponsored as memorial to a loved one, for grandparents, or other family or friends who couldn't attend the games, or just to help us out. We are a nonprofit with a goal of continuing a long service to our community. Our group also tapes the games for the coaches, so we are totally committed to Oak Ridge basketball. To sponsor one game is $150, such as a men's game or a women's game, or it's $250 to sponsor for both. If you're interested, please contact David Clary at DC Catvoice. That's DC Catvoice at AOL.com, or contact David Clary on Twitter or Facebook, or give him a call at 865-310-7207. That's 865-310-7207. We greatly appreciate your help. We appreciate the folks allowing us to stream this game because we had to pay to be able to do that, the video stream of this one. Talking about basketball, joining me here in the booth is one Coach Aaron Green. Coach, welcome to the booth. We'll talk some basketball, but first, what are your thoughts on this first half?
Yeah, you got a great view from right here, Alex. It's a good spot. Band playing in the background, but I think Rhea County really hogged the ball the first half. I think had it. I was in there in the next room over, and I heard Mark Hayes say that Rhea County had it 18 minutes, and Oak Ridge had it 5. So as far as the football, it's hard to, they're controlling the clock right now, but had a couple big plays, that big run, but we'll be fine. I mean, this is a unique offense they're facing in regards to what Rhea County's running. I'm not a football coach, but I know it's a little unique, but they'll be fine.
Well, and it's a different sport, but in basketball, especially in high school, you've got teams and coaches who will slow it down and just run a minute or two off the clock between shots. And for a team like you, who Oak Ridge basketball typically through the years wants to get up and down and play fast, how do you keep your team focused on just trying to play your game in a scenario like this where you really don't have any control over how fast the other team's moving?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's just, you just really don't panic. Just play, just execute, do what you've done all year from the start. Well, do what you did the last game. Last game, I think, was the best game the year they played. And, had an interception there that probably gave them their 7 points, but we'll be fine. I think you got to limit. Rhea County's score was on a big play. Did you take that away, you're probably fine. I think they'll be fine. Rhea County's. I anticipate them having a couple maybe. They look like they're running the same play every time. I'm anticipating a couple maybe gimmicks or some, maybe a little pop to the tight end this half, but I'm sure they're ready for that. But they'll be fine. I think they'll get in their playmakers' hands offensively second half, and I think we'll put up a few more points this half.
David Clary Trivia quizzed me last week on this question. I'll ask you the same. You're a, I guess, southeast Tennessee boy, not too far from Rhea County. Who is the greatest player to come out of Rhea County for the Golden Eagles on the football field?
Andy Kelly.
Okay. I hesitated for about 3 seconds. Said, I know this one. Andy Kelly. You had zero hesitation.
That's right.
We'll have zero hesitation getting excited for basketball season. The girls' team, I think, and guys' team both are sort of similar in the fact that they're young but athletic and talented and want to play fast. The girls' team has a luxury. It wasn't a luxury last year. I'm sure she'd like to have some more veterans, but this year the luxury of those young players are very experienced. Your young players, a lot of them are not. You had a big senior class last year, senior-laden team. This time you're going to have some more youngsters. Tell us about the makeup of your team this year.
Yeah, I think this is my 13th year at Oak Ridge. It's just, time flies. It's crazy. I've been here that long, but I think this is the first year that we've lost our top 6 to graduation. We lost our starting 5. Flip, was probably arguably our 6th man coming off the bench, especially the second part of the year. So I don't know if we've had situations where we've lost, had to replace 4 starters in some cases. A lot of times maybe 3, but this is the first year that I can remember we've had our top 6 gone. But I think the guys that are, this year, they've worked hard this first week. It's been a good week. They're playing really, really hard, and these guys have kind of waited their turn. We've got a really good freshman program, really good JV program, and some of these guys have kind of waited their turn. It's their opportunity to step up and play well, and I think they will. I'm looking forward to it.
The freshman, I don't know if I've ever seen this in high school basketball. The freshman team was bigger physically than your varsity team last year. How is that going to impact you guys, that size coming up? Is this going to be a little bit more of a team, more like the Milloway teams size-wise versus the past couple of seasons?
Yeah, it's a good point. Our freshman team last year was bigger than our starting 5, and we'll have, with that said, we'll have a little bit more size, actually a lot more size this year. And we'll won't change really our core of what we do and what our foundation is based on, which is defending and rebounding and playing fast. But with a little bit more size, you put more of an emphasis on getting it inside, maybe than we did last year, just because last year we had more guards and, spread people out and could shoot it. And we got some guys that can shoot it this year, but, I think it is an advantage that we have a few guys with some size that can score inside, which, we hadn't really had, I guess since Milloway was here. So, a fun group to coach. We'll have, I think the other strength we'll have is we'll have a lot of depth. And we have depth each year, but this year I think we can go 9 or 10 deep, I believe. We'll find out a little bit more as the next week unfolds. We got our scrimmages, and then the following week we got our first game. So fun group to coach as usual. They play hard, really good group of kids, and they'll be fun to watch.
You're dressed. You can't see him on the radio, but he's dressed in his all-orange UT hat, UT shirt. As you most probably already know, he played basketball at UT. I've got an inkling I know who you want to win tomorrow. Who do you think's going to win?
Yeah, I've got my orange hat on, my orange shirt on. I don't know if you noticed my shoes, Alex. I've got the orange shoes on, so I think that probably answers your question, who I think's going to win. But no, I mean, Tennessee, a lot of kids at school, I wore this to school today, so a lot of them that are not Tennessee fans kind of ride me, they're going to lose tomorrow, and I said, well, you guys have said that about the last, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, okay, it was, LSU, then Alabama, and then, I got a bunch of kids on my team, they're Kentucky fans, so I've been able to really run my mouth a lot this year. I love it. That's why I've got on all my orange, Alex, so I'm not going to hold back for tomorrow. Obviously, it's a tough challenge. This is probably the most excited I've been for a football game in a long, long time, just because they're fun to watch, and there's, just how bad we've been over the last decade. This is fun, and I'm looking forward to it as an East Tennessee boy myself. I'm sure everybody else agrees.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on here. It's good to talk to you. Brian, let's end it off for a 3-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll have a first half recap, stats, as well as scores of interest from around the area. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Got any scores? As what's the guy's name? The PA guy. As Guy would say, scores of interest.
Yeah.
Enjoy the show.
So what I want you to do is, are you going to do the scores first or the recap first?
I thought we'd do the summary.
Yeah,
first.
that's what I was hoping. Okay.
Yeah. Is it coming back to me or you?
I'll bring it back in.
Okay.
I'll see you.
All right. Just make. I don't care. I just want to know.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. We're in the press box here at beautiful Jack Armstrong Stadium. To my right now slides back into the broadcast booth Mike the Wildman Sheehan, former Wildcat, longtime helper here on prepradio.com. Mike, you've got the first half scoring summary. Not quite as busy as you were last week at Campbell County, but still good news you've got to report from Oak Ridge from the scoring summary standpoint.
Thank you very much, Alec. Oak Ridge again got off to a very good start tonight here in the first round of the playoffs. Wildcats on the opening kickoff drove down the field to the 32-yard line where Jarvis Dozier ran one in from 32 yards out to put the Wildcats up 6-0 with 4 minutes and 55 seconds left in the first quarter. Then David Wilson came in for the Wildcats and kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Wildcats led in the first quarter 7-0. And there was a lot of different plays made by the Rhea County Golden Eagles. Wildcats had to make some adjustments. They controlled the ball pretty well, moved the ball down the field, but every time they got anything going good, they had 4 false start penalties, and then they had one that just really hurt them, a personal foul penalty. They were driving down there close to the goal line, got backed up. So the Wildcats held them in the first quarter, going into the first quarter leading 7-0. Then in the second quarter, the Rhea County Golden Eagles drove down to the 1-yard line where the quarterback snuck it in and put the Golden Eagles on the board 7-6. Then their kick by Cole Ruling came in, kicked the ball between the uprights, and the game was tied 7-7. But it wasn't meant to last. With 8 minutes and 58 seconds left in the game, Jai Hunley took a handoff right up the middle off tackle and went 48 yards untouched for the Wildcats up 14-7. Then a little bit of trickery by the Wildcats, a direct snap to Brandon Hayward for the 2-point conversion. Brandon ran it in untouched, and the Wildcats went up by 8, 15-7. Then the Wildcats drove all the way down the field, got down to the 27, and then kicked a 37-yard field goal, but it came up short, and the Wildcats led at the half 15-7. Just a good halftime performance and some really good adjustments by the defensive team to stop the Rhea County Golden Eagles there at the end of the first half.
And Mike, you've got some scores of interest for us around the area, and one in particular that could affect where Oak Ridge plays next week if they hold on to this win.
Absolutely, and that's that Campbell County McMinn County game. It's almost halftime. Campbell County trailing the McMinn County Cherokees 17-7. McMinn County 8-2, Campbell County 5-5. In all likelihood, we'll play McMinn County next week because it's way too early to tell just yet. Other scores of interest for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. Powell leads Ottawa 28-7. In other playoff action, Maryville's beating Morristown East 42-0. Knox Central's over Tennessee High 6-0. And Farragut's leading Jefferson County 17-0 at the half. Anderson County, another good team in this area, 10-0 team as a matter of fact. They're just all over Seymour 48-0.
Mike, I didn't happen to catch the Clinton score during your recap. Do you have that?
Don't even think Clinton's playing this week, are they?
Okay, just wanted to make sure. We're now going to turn it over to Mark Haste, who's got our first half stats.
34 yards on 4 carries. His long tonight was a 29 down carry. Alamani Rimbert has a Okay, back here at Oak Ridge, where at the half, Oak Ridge leads 15-7. Quickly looking at the stats, Oak Ridge led on the ground by Jai Hunley. He has 52 yards on 4 carries. His long is a 48-yard touchdown. Jovis Dozier has 34 yards on 4 carries. His long is a 29-yard touchdown. Alamani Rimbert has 7 yards on 1 carry. As a team, the Wildcats rushed the ball 9 times, totaling 90 yards on the ground. Quarterback for the Wildcats, he's 3 of 6 for 56 yards. He does receiving for the Wildcats. They're led by Elijah Rogers. He has 2 receptions for 50 yards total. His long was a 34-yard reception. No, it was not a reception. He went out of bounds. My apologies on that. Alamani Rimbert has a 6-yard reception for the Wildcats. So as a team, Wildcats have 93 yards on the ground on 9 carries. They have 56 yards through the air on 3 receptions for a total offense tonight in the first half of 149 yards. Wildcats have earned 3 first downs in the ballgame, or in the first half at least. They've been penalized twice for 10 yards. Time of possession for the Wildcats is 5 minutes, 44 seconds. Now looking at Rhea County, they're led on the ground by Caleb Odell. He has 85 yards on 18 carries. His long is only 12 yards tonight. Let's see, number 31 for them. I don't have his name, but he has 55 yards on 5 carries. His long is a 40-yard jaunt. Bryson Davis has 3 carries, netting no yards. And then Caleb Martin, the quarterback for the Rhea County Golden Eagles, he has 3 carries, netting -9 yards. He had a sack for 13 yards, so that really hurt his stats. So as a team, Rhea County has 29 carries for 131 yards on the ground. Through the air, they have not attempted a single pass. So it's all been rushing yards for the Golden Eagles. They have earned 6 first downs in the first half for 30 yards. So looking at the team side by side, on the ground, Oak Ridge 93 yards on 9 carries. Rhea County 131 yards on 29 carries. Rhea County is averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Oak Ridge 10.3 yards per carry. Through the air, Oak Ridge has 56 yards. Let's see. Total offense, Oak Ridge 149, Rhea County 131. Time of possession, Oak Ridge has had the ball 5 minutes, 44 seconds. Rhea County 18 minutes, 16 seconds. So their wing teams really grinding out the clock. They definitely dominate the time of possession, but Oak Ridge dominates the score. As I said, Oak Ridge on top tonight by a score of 15-7. And we'll send it back to the station for this 2-minute timeout.
I did. I got it. Yeah. Chauncey Odom. Did she tell you that? It's 31.
Shop is a locally owned business which features fine home accessories and unique gifts. Located just across the street from historic Jackson Square, you can purchase general admission tickets.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. The Wildcats getting set to receive the kick from the Golden Eagles. 15-7 is our score. Alex, I appreciate you guys doing the halftime show. I know we're having some audio issues on all accounts. It's one of those, I asked Alex a minute ago, is this Friday the 13th? But right now, so far, so good. The Wildcats on top 15-7. Will the onside kick it here, Alex?
No.
Nope, they're going to pooch it, and it's going to be right in the center of the field. It's going to be fielded by Oak Ridge at the 30, to the 35, up to the 40-yard line. The Wildcats still moving forward to around the 43-yard line. The return man for the Wildcats was Jai Hunley, and the Wildcats will have great field position. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at their own 43-yard line.
You know, David, I have to mention they put 3 minutes on the clock, an additional 3 minutes, as has been the case with literally every ball game I've been at this year. At halftime, 20 minutes was not enough. And not only did they do that, David, they didn't start the 3 minutes once they put it up there for about a minute and a half. I'm sure that shocks you that I found something to complain about.
Of course, as the Wildcats have it, first down, 10 yards to go at their own 43-yard line. Ethan Garza at quarterback, two receivers to his left. The Wildcats will hand it off to DeJavis Dozier, and he cuts to the outside. Not much there, but he powers across the 50. To the outside he goes, to the 40, to the 35. Cuts back inside to the 32-yard line. That is a 10-bank of Oak Ridge first down. It looked as if he was only going to get about 3 yards. Then he busted through and picked up a great game for the Wildcats.
And there's an old saying in football, you're either the hammer or the nail. That time, two defenders closed in on him, but they just sort of waited to catch him. And Dozier decided that he'd be the hammer. He was going to cause that impact, and he just broke the tackle. They were not aggressive, and it's almost like a good point guard in basketball, splitting two defenders, but he did it with power.
First and 10 Wildcats. It gets another handoff, this time not as much. He does get up to the 30-yard line. The Wildcats had an opportunity, a golden opportunity, to score at the end of the first half. Weren't able to get points on the board. They've got it in great position right now. Second down, 8 yards to go. The ball at the Rhea County 30-yard line. The Wildcats need to get points here. This one's too close for comfort. Wildcats have Brandon Hayward split to the right side. The Wildcats, Jai Hunley as well. Wildcats have a tight end in a slot. Ethan's going to pass. Garza across the way, wide open. No, he drops it. Wildcats' Elijah Rogers, I think, was running before he caught it. That would have been a first down easily because he was all alone in the flats there.
Yeah, he usually is pretty sure-handed, especially when he's that wide open. That time he immediately turned around and points to his chest and says, that's my bad.
It'll be now third down, 8 yards. Wildcats Oak Ridge with Hundley and Hayward split to the right. The Wildcats have Pendergrass. The left. Wildcats have Dozier in the backfield. Brian Kelly is the tight end. He's in a slot to the right. Garza from the shotgun. Third down, 8 yards to go. 15-7 the score. Garza pitches it. Dozier with a full head of steam, but only gets up to around the 25-yard line. Then a late flag comes in. We might have a hold on the Wildcats. We'll check it. Number 12 and number 7 battling it out there, and one of those two is going to be called for a penalty.
Well, it was actually going to be Rimbert who was in the slot that time, and he had a key block, but it was one of the easiest holding calls I've seen all fall. good effort from Almani there. Unfortunately, he was just sort of behind the defender and was doing all he could to just sort of grab and tug to try to make sure that he didn't get the ball carrier. It worked, but he was caught.
So they'll step the yardage off, and the Wildcats had a golden opportunity, but now the ball has walked all the way back to the 41-yard line, where now, for the Wildcats, it'll be third down. They need to get all the way up to the 22-yard line, and they'll come to the line. Wildcats, third down, 19 yards to go. Receivers left and right. It's Pendergrass to the left. Dozier's in the backfield. Hundley once again, split to the right side. Guards at quarterback. Third down, 19 yards to go. Here's Ethan, going to hand it off to Dozier, and he's not going to get anywhere. He's going to lose yardage on the play. So the Wildcat offense sputtering the last two drives, really. And, obviously the penalty was a big key there, but, to have that drop pass back, Alex.
Yeah, it's disappointing. And that call right there tells me Oak Ridge was thinking this is 4-down territory. But obviously, when you need about 15 yards on third down, you're just hoping to get 7-8 yards and make this more manageable. But unfortunately, it's an even more difficult play now, right at about 20 yards needing. And to me, this is just I think I would use my specialist, my punter here, and try to pin him back. Brennan's a weapon, and I think you got to fire all guns, but Oak Ridge is going to be aggressive right here. You've got to think this one's going to Hayward.
And he's going to throw it. Garza cranks it, goes deep, long to the end zone, passes there. It's going to be incomplete. Right in the center of the field. Connor Cummings, the intended receiver. And, it's very easy to question calls, but I think I would have punted there and just backed him up. But now they're going to get the ball at the 41-yard line. 9 minutes, 28. Third quarter, Oak Ridge on top, 15-7.
Yeah, I think you're right. You got to use your weapons that you have. That being said, again, we question it, but the play was there to be made. He actually had Hayward on the far side. He really never looked his way. He had Cummings. The ball was a little bit late, so Cummings, even though it hit his hands, he got blasted as soon as he caught it. It was going to be a tough play to make.
Handoff goes for about a yard or so up to the 45-yard line. It'll be second down facing the Golden Eagles. Caleb Martin is a junior quarterback. You might remember, Alex, he started against us in 2020 when we played him in the playoffs, only a freshman then, and he threw the ball more. He ran the ball more then. He really hasn't even tried to run the ball much at all tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just a team you would think that they would – I mean, literally, Mike brought up a great point. It's almost interesting. It's almost the exact opposite of Campbell County. Campbell County had one run all first half. This time, Rhea County has 0 passes.
Now they're going to pass. The pass is going to be caught at around the 23-yard line. So we talk about it, and immediately they throw it. So they lulled the Wildcats to sleep. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go for the Rhea County Golden Eagles.
And the crazy thing is, the kid's got a pretty good arm. I mean, that was a pretty good pass for someone who they haven't let pass a single time before that play. I mean, if he can throw the ball like that, I mean, it's not as smooth coming out as an Ethan Garza, but you wouldn't expect that from someone running this type of offense. But he's definitely capable and competent as a quarterback if he can throw relatively like he just did. I think I'd let him throw a little bit more.
From the 25-yard line, they're going to hand it off for nothing. They're going to be hit at the line of scrimmage. The Wildcats driving back pretty good. 8:03 to play here in the third quarter, 15-7. The Wildcats in the lead in this playoff game. And you and I were talking during the break, Alex. It's a flat kind of crowd here, and it really, the teams are kind of flat.
Yeah, it looks like I don't know, almost like a preseason game if you watch the NFL or something. I mean, there's just not a lot of juice. And I think part of that goes to the style of play because both teams are doing a bunch of standing around as Rhea County just takes so much off the clock. That's part of it. But, the crowd really, even before the game, was never really, I won't say into it, but they weren't.
Handoff goes for a couple of yards there. It'll be third down and long. 4-down territory, obviously, for Rhea County. Ball is at the Oak Ridge 20, let's see where it is now, the 22-yard line. Jeremiah Holman there on the stop. It'll be for Rhea County. Third down, and 7 yards to go. 7 minutes to play in the third period of this playoff ball game. The winner to take on the winner of McMinn County and Campbell County. The score we have was 17-7. McMinn County on top in the second quarter. If the Wildcats were to win, they would travel to McMinn County. If McMinn County won, if Campbell County were to somehow come from behind and Oak Ridge wins, Blankenship Field next week. Third down, 7 yards to go. Quarterback's going to roll to his right. He's going to run it up the field. Bounces to the outside, but he doesn't go anywhere because the Wildcats make a great play. Nice defensive play by who else but Price Davis.
Price Davis, first one to hit him. Several Wildcats in right after to make sure he didn't escape that tackle. And now a fourth and, I guess, about 8 or so. It's going to be a tough play right here because, you know, probably only going to get this if they pass the ball, but I don't know that they're going to try to pass it. Interesting, almost a hockey-style substitution here. They're bringing 5 new players on, a little bit leaner of a lineup. Maybe they will try to do something different. No, they're going to try to kick a field goal.
They're going to do a field goal. They're going to put the block down at the 29-yard line, making this a 39-yard kick from the right hash. And before that, whistles blow. He didn't hit it well enough. It wouldn't have been good. But let's see what they're going to elect to do. I think Rhea County did call a timeout. Maybe. It's going to be fourth down, 7 yards to go. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back to Blankenship Field. 15-7 Wildcats back in 30 seconds. I understand from people listening in Texas right now that the audio and the video are synced up. We appreciate Kevin Faust, Jan West, Elizabeth Stansberry, Sandy Henry, Jim and Tina Trent, Brandon Jones, Susan Steck, Jack Campbell, Heather Hartman, and Andrea Reyes for helping us with our stream. So they are going to continue to go for the field goal here. It'll be a 39-yard attempt, the ball on the right hash from the 29-yard line, fourth down, 7. Here's the kick. It's away. Hits this one much better. It's on its way. It's up, and it is up, and it is good. So it is now 15-10. The Wildcats have a 5-point lead. The Wildcats missed a field goal of shorter distance earlier and squandered another opportunity on the last time they had the ball. Wildcats have got to get their offense going here. Oak Ridge only up now 5.
Yeah, they do. And again, here's another opportunity where if you look at the scoreboard, just a snapshot in time, it doesn't look like Oak Ridge has got a lot of pressure on them on this drive, but sneaky amount of pressure because, as you mentioned, an interception pretty late in that first half. Last couple of drives have stalled for Oak Ridge. If you stall again here, all the momentum, playing at home is a blessing, but when things don't go your way, it can almost be a curse because all of a sudden that pressure starts to mount of, hey, you're expected to win. You came in big favorites. You're at home, especially in the playoffs, David. It's just multiplied up teen times because of the finality of whoever loses this game, their season's over.
Most definitely. The only time that Ray beaten Oak Ridge, Wildcats are 10-1 actually in the series. The only time that they've ever beaten Oak Ridge was here in a playoff ball game in 2014, and I know you probably remember that ball game, but Wildcats have just got to get their offense rolling. It just obviously that pass play was a big play to get them into this position, but boy, the first time when they called the timeout, he missed that kick badly, but he drilled that one through, and it's 15-10. Now they're going to kick off. They've pooched off so far in this game. Let's see what he does this time. It's going to be a little squib kick down the middle of the field, picked up by Oak Ridge at the 15-yard line, moving the ball straight up the gut. Brandon Hayward, I believe, up to the 28-yard line for the Wildcats. Either way, the Wildcats will have it first down, 10 yards to go. And let's see what the offense can do. The Wildcats, as you said, they've got to get going.
There's actually a freshman, Riker Arms, on the return. And, David, I haven't seen a lot of him. I know he's made some plays in JV and freshman-type games. He looked pretty comfortable with the ball in his hands there.
He's really good. I mean, he is a star on the freshman team. He does most of the work. He scores most of. He's fast, elusive, and I apologize I didn't get his great grandfather Ronnie Hayes will be unhappy when he watches the replay on YouTube. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the 28-yard line. The Wildcats lead is now 15-10. Ethan Garza was going to hand it off, and the Wildcats have nothing in the middle. The Wildcats continue to try to run it, this time between the tackles, and he just got popped at the line of scrimmage. And it'll be for the Wildcats now, second down and 10 yards to go. Down to 5:07 to play here in the third quarter. Wildcats have Dozier in the backfield, two receivers to the left. The Wildcats have got to get something out of their passing game. Ethan's going to pass it. Quick passes this time going to be caught at the 40, at the 45. That's a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down and another late hit. Way out of bounds, number one. Hits the Wildcats, Brandon Hayward. It'll be 1st and 10 Wildcats. Just as I said, the Wildcats have struggled with the exception of the two long runs for touchdowns to run the ball. And Garza's got a strong arm, and if they're going to give him that much room, the Wildcats have the skill guys to get some good yardage.
They absolutely do. And, I like what I saw from Oak Ridge right there. Coaches might not agree with me, at least publicly, because Oak Ridge nearly was called for a penalty for sort of retaliating after that, but they weren't. And why I like that is because, to me, especially on your own sideline, well, never mind. I guess I don't like it then. I thought Oak Ridge sort of toughened up on that sideline and sort of, I guess, took up for their guy getting hit late, and I thought they did just enough to sort of get the point across without getting penalized. Unfortunately, apparently they did get penalized. I didn't think they retaliated that badly, but I guess the officials did. So now that 15-yard penalty is totally negated, and it's just a first down.
And the Wildcats will have it officially at the yard line. And I don't know what happened on the Oak Ridge sideline. They're writing things down. I know all the officials are writing in their little notebooks right now. I guess whoever was the guilty party. Wildcats have it 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line with their backs to Jackson Square. Brandon's going to split out to the far right. The tight end is Brian Kelly. Garza, the quarterback, the Wildcats with the jumbo set, and they're going to hand it off, and they're going to be penalized. There looked like there was some movement again, and we're going to have a 5-yard penalty. Wildcats struggling, really. I heard Coach Cummings in a week that in the jumbo set, we need to just power the football, but you've got to do it right.
Yeah, well, I mean, it all goes back to just not hurting yourself. Oak Ridge has had a lot of success, even against a lot of teams that are much more physically imposing than Rhea County this year, but it doesn't matter how small the other team is if you can't get the snap off without a penalty.
Garza's pass complete to Brandon Hayward at the 40, at the 35, at the 30, down to the Rhea County 25-yard line where it'll be another 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down. Really like that play. They went in the jumbo set and they threw out of it.
Yeah, just you and I were talking about how they need to power out of that formation, and they do just the opposite. But you know what? It worked. It's, again, about getting your athletes better than their athletes, the ball in space where they can make plays, and that's what they did right there. Again, Hayward one-on-one coverage this time as well.
First down 10. Here comes Jai Hunley across the 20 up to around the 7 line and beyond it to around the 16-yard line. 4 minutes, 20 seconds to play here in the third quarter. 15-10. The Wildcats are in the lead. The Wildcats have it second down, 2 yards to go, and they're going. Garza under center to Jai, and he's blasted in the backfield and will lose yardage.
And Oak Ridge really fortunate, very fortunate, David, to retain possession. The reason he was blasted is because there was a hesitation, and it looked like there was a miscommunication, and they really didn't have a clean exchange. The ball hit the ground, nearly was recovered by Rhea County.
Wildcats have it third down 2. Here comes Oak Ridge's Hunley. He's outside 10, 5, touchdown, I believe, for the Wildcats. The Wildcats, they're going to say, I think he went out at the 3, but either way, it'll be first down, goal to go for the Wildcats.
And they're going to call and they're going to call Brandon Hayward with a holding call on the outside, and I don't agree with that one bit. Coach Cummings doesn't agree with it, and I'm not trying to sip the Kool-Aid and be a homer. I'm dead serious. That's a block that 9 times out of 10 at every level of football is just let go. When you're engaged with a guy 8 to 10 yards downfield, there was nothing egregious right there. If there was a holding and it was egregious, then I'm wrong. But they're going to unfortunately call that back, and it's going to be 3rd and 3 way back at the 18-yard line.
Up to the line, they'll come to the 18-yard line. Hand off to Huntley again. This time he's got a first down. He's got a touchdown for the Wildcats. Same play, same result. 6 points on the board for the Wildcats, and Oak Ridge ups their lead to 21-10.
Great run. That time, Hayward a little bit better blocking, according to the officials, on the outside. But that was really great blocking up front as well. And again, if you get these running backs space, just a yard or two of space, if they get going north and south, going downhill, it's really hard to stop them. Rhea County had no answer for Jai Huntley on those 2 plays.
And the Wildcats will go for the extra point. It'll be Nehemiah Elmore to hold. The long snapper, Price Palmer, to attempt the extra point. 21-10 Wildcats. The ball is down. The kick is up. And the kick, it is good. The Wildcats lead Rhea County 22-10. The winner to advance to the second round. We'll be back with an Oak Ridge kickoff in 60 seconds.
I feel a little better now.
The Wildcats with 3 minutes, 22 seconds left in the third quarter, and Oak Ridge now leads Rhea County 22-10. Here's Brennan Pearson's kick. High end over end kick's going to go sailing and bouncing into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. So the Wildcats answer the field goal with a touchdown and lead it now by 12. 22-10 the score. 3 minutes, 22 seconds to play here. The Wildcats with a good drive here. A short drive, a short field. Wildcats made plays, and it's kind of been a weird game. You've got hardly any short plays. Most of the plays for the Wildcats have been big, long plays.
Yeah, and really their only touchdown for Rhea County was a big long play coming off an Oak Ridge turnover. So just a weird night. Maybe it's Friday the 13th. Who knows?
Caleb Martin at quarterback again is going to hand it off to the running back, and he lowers his shoulder and moves the pile across the 25 up to the 26-yard line. I mentioned this. Caleb Martin, a 3-year starter for the Golden Eagles. Last time we played him was down in Evansville, and that was a 23-0 win. The Wildcats won that playoff game en route to the state championship ball game, but Wildcats shut him out that particular night. But I was impressed with him, and I thought this would be their year, honestly. And they had a great year last year, but they've only won 2 ball games. Their defense is porous, honestly, except when the Wildcats have run up the middle. Here we go, second down, 3 yards to go, 2:43 to play, third quarter. Martin's going to hand it off to the running back, and he's hit at the line. This time the pile does kind of fall a little bit forward. Wildcats are signaling they've got a fumble. I haven't seen any official signal. Grayson Hope says he's got it. I have seen no signal by an official. Grayson is excited. No signal as of yet by the official. Yes, Oak Ridge has recovered a fumble. The Wildcats have recovered a fumble, and you're going to have to help me. Grayson Hope was just going crazy, and the rest of the team was just kind of standing there. The Wildcats do have possession. 1st and 10. The Wildcats at the 28-yard line. Was it Tyler Pickens?
I'm not sure. There were several Wildcats on the ground. Price Davis tossed the ball back to the official. I don't know who got it. I didn't know it was even a fumble until we saw the reaction of some Oak Ridge's players, but they knew it, and the officials knew it, and thank goodness they did, because now we know it's first down for Oak Ridge. And I think Oak Ridge is going to get called for a penalty. There's too many men on the field or something. I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah, Tyler Pickens had to come out of the ball game for whatever reason. The Wildcats having to substitute another player in. Wildcats have great field position at the Rhea County 28-yard line. First in that. Here comes Garza rolling to his right. Throws it into the end zone. 50-50 ball. And the pass is incomplete, but we've got a flag down on the play.
And I'm not sure, you would assume defensive pass interference. I'm not sure if it's defensive. It could be on Brandon. This was sort of 50-50 on this call, too. Honestly, I think whatever way it goes, and it's going to go against Oak Ridge. I thought that was just two guys fighting, but maybe, hey, they're going to say Hayward got away with a little push or something. But unfortunately, again, Oak Ridge is going to be behind the sticks now. It's going to be first and long after that pass interference penalty against Oak Ridge.
So that'll back them up here. The Wildcats are definitely not playing perfect ball, but you know what? Coach Cummings said, with all the people out, one day this week they had 20 players out of practice because of the flu, 10 starters at one time. And he just got to show up and survive and hope for this week. Wildcats, that's, like you said, it was a fight for the ball, but they're going to call the pass interference against Oak Ridge. So it's now going to be 1st and 25. For the Wildcats, but we still have possession of the ball. Obviously, the ball is at the 43-yard line. Oak Ridge on top, 22-10, 2:17 to play here in the third quarter. And now play is halted, and Oak Ridge will call a timeout. We have to get timeouts in, so we'll take a quick one. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Looks like we're traveling.
That ain't good. Campbell County can
David Clary back here along with Alex Myers and Mike Sheehan. 1st and 25 for the Wildcats. The ball at the Rhea County 43-yard line. Guards it a pass. Quick pass caught. Wildcats have it at the 30, at the 25-20. Kicking down the left sideline. Rodgers, I believe, into the end zone. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. The Wildcats score again with their passing of Ethan Garza, who went over 1,000 yards. And the Wildcats, another touchdown on the board, and they lead Rhea County by a score of 28-10.
Excellent play, really a great individual effort that time by Elijah Rogers. We talked about it the other day at the pep rally, David, and I still think it's true. He's one of the better athletes in the area. He just hasn't gotten the recognition because he's been in and out of ball games with injuries this year, but when healthy, he can do things on the football field that most players simply cannot. He showed his athleticism and his ball skills right there.
High snap, but David Wilson's kick is up, and it is good, and Oak Ridge leads Rhea County now 29-10. We'll be back with 2:07 to play in the third quarter. 60 seconds. Ridge now leads 29-10 on a 43-yard touchdown pass from Ethan Garza to Elijah Rogers. Period. 2 minutes, 7 seconds to play in the third quarter. David Clary back here along with Mike Sheehan, Josh Frazier, Drew Tom, Andy Hudson, Alex Baraxa, Brian Bennett, Mark and Shauna Hayes. Here's Brennan Pearson's kick. End over end kick's going to be returnable at the 1 to the 5. He stumbles at the 10. Boom! Big stick for the Wildcats. A great kickoff coverage tackle, I believe, by Izzy Mitchell.
I think it may have been Terrence Anthony.
It was
Got
number
blown
6
up.
instead of number 8.
And then there's a penalty on the play, and if this is against, it's a chop block, so it's against Rhea County, David. This will be half the distance. This is going to be a really, really tough spot for their offense to start.
29-10. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable about it. How about you?
Yeah, just a little bit, and for those keeping score around the area, it looks like Campbell County is behind the 8 ball a little bit, down 25-7 in the third quarter down in McMinn County. If they continue to hold on to that lead and Oak Ridge holds on to this lead, Oak Ridge would be traveling to play the Cherokees next week.
And it was McMinn County last year that defeated the Wildcats to end their season. We'll check on Carnes and Walker Valley when we get a chance. Caleb Martin's going to hand it up the middle, and, 29-10, and that is the problem when you run this offense and you fall behind, and this is the only thing you can do, you're dead in the water.
But I almost wonder, could they not switch back to some of that offense that they were running the past few weeks, just because, looking at this quarterback as an athlete that can make some plays with his legs if he was back from the pocket, he's got a decent arm. I mean, I think they could try to give him a shot to make a play.
Yeah, but Coach Ayers and his defensive staff have made adjustments here. Now we're just stopping them at the line of scrimmage, and it is going to be 3rd down and 6. The wing T is an offense that's out of date, and really, I guess you use it depending on what your athletes are. And I know Coach Pemberton has used it for years and years and years, but you would think at some point you want to get in the modern era of football.
Would think, but I think a lot of it is just roster dependent, and I'll finish the thoughts after this play.
3rd down, 7 yards to go, and they're going to lose yardage again. They just can't move the ball. They're going to be tackled behind the 10-yard line, so now it's going to be 4th down. Under a minute to play here in the Wildcats are up 29-10 over the Golden. 4th and 7. There's 33 seconds on the play clock. There's 34 seconds on the game clock, so they're going to have to punt from their own end zone. It's been a disastrous third quarter for the Golden Eagles.
What I was going to say, finishing my thoughts, David, about this side of offense is you see some teams in high school and even college that run this that have decent success, but you never see hardly ever teams win championships or really win titles running this sort of offense.
Nice punt this time. Brandon backs up on it and feels that we might have a block in the back. Nope, it's going to be Hayward at the 45, to the 40, to the 35, to the 30, to the 25, to the 20. Brandon Hayward, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Brandon Hayward on a punt. Flags are down, though, at the 40-yard line.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're just compounding mistakes, David. There's a penalty flag for, I don't know if it's a block in the back or something, but then Elijah Rogers was not happy with something, I'm guessing the call, and decided to, I think, take it out verbally against the official. They had a long discussion, and the official pretty flagrantly threw the flag as if to say, I've had enough of this. And so you sort of hope, depending on what the call is, that this doesn't impact Elijah's availability next week. Totally avoidable penalty there from Elijah. I know he's frustrated, but you cannot let that impact you going forward. We've got more football to play.
Van is still playing, but the touchdown will not count, obviously, because it was not a dead ball foul. It's unsportsmanlike conduct against the Wildcats. Yeah, if he was the guy that was involved with the earlier penalty, that could for sure have him out of the ball game next week. We'll have to try to find out perhaps from maybe Brian Leffler down on the sideline. The first penalty was illegal block, like I saw, and I saw it. An illegal block to me. It was behind the play, and then now we're going to have the unsportsmanlike conduct. So they're going to back him all the way back on the other side of the 50. So final play of the third quarter. So we have no more time left. Clock here. The third quarter has come to a close, I believe. And although I don't know if the officials, they're still marking penalties off against the Wildcats. They're going to all the way back to the 38-yard line. And, you know, this is not what Oak Ridge fans want to see, all these unsportsmanlike calls and such. We just don't want to see that. Good news is it is first down and 7 yards to go, they say. Ball is on the scoreboard, and the quarter is over. Are they stepping more yardage off? Yes, they are. That might have been all the way to the 3-yard line. So I can't even do the math in my head here.
Well, if you count the touchdown, had the touchdown stood with no penalties, this is a 77-yard penalty. As far as the net yardage that all those penalties accounted for, and now no one on the field somehow. This crew has been a little bit upsetting starting from the start of the game, not having a chain gang. But it's a little bit Bush League, in my opinion, the fact that we stepped all that yardage off. At the end of the play, there were 0 seconds, and now there's still no time on the clock, and it looks like they just realized it. Are they going to make Oak Ridge run a play? I don't understand.
What?
I guess they're going to make him run a play.
First down, 10 yards to go at the 23-yard line. No time on the clock in the third quarter, and there's movement across the line. You talk about what has not been a pretty ball game here, although the score is pretty at 29-10 Oak Ridge. Wildcats look like they're headed to the second round of the playoffs. It's going to be a 5-yard step off against the Golden Eagles for encroachment up to the 28-yard line. Still no on the clock. It'll be 1st and 10. The Wildcats have Pendergrass and one other receiver in double stack on the left side of the quarterback, Ethan Garza. The running back is DeJavis Dozier. Wildcats have Will Presley and one other receiver split to the right. First down, 5 yards to go. Garza's going to hand it off to Dozier, and Dozier hits the line hard and moves the ball to the 33-yard line. And I do believe finally we have come to the end of the third quarter. We have played 3 quarters of football here at Blankenship Field. Top of Rhea County, 29-10. Wildcats headed to the second round if they can hold on. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
These geniuses still don't realize the clock is good gracious. It took them 15. I mean, the Rhea County coach had to go over and say, guys, the quarter's over. Can you flip the field? Like they're doing major author out there with all the books they've got writing stuff down. How about we just start the game? Goodness. I'm being a little bit of a curmudgeon right now, aren't I? I'm sort of a get off my lawn type of guy, but that's just frustrating.
Yeah,
I mean, you do yourself no favors as an officiating crew when at the beginning of a playoff game you have to wait 3 minutes for your chain game.
there's something wrong with that. Bad.
I've never seen that in a playoff. I mean, I've never seen that in a regular season. It just, you know, I took officiating classes and stuff. I've done that sort of that deal at a smaller level. Same thing tell you this. Give off the interpretation. It's gonna, because if you don't.
Sorry about those people listening on the stream with our hot mic in the press box. Apologize for that. The Wildcats have it. Now, first down.
Oh, there's no need to apologize,
Well,
David.
As they move the ball
These officiating
forward, it'll
crew
be
came
first down,
unprepared.
10 yards to go. The ball at the 33-yard line. Garza rolls to his left, looks to throw, fires a pass in the flats, incomplete. It'll be second down and 10 yards to go. Alex, the Wildcats, 11:53 away from the second round and a return trip to McMinn County. Most likely.
Yeah, it's a familiar territory. Unfortunately, for someone my age, we've had a lot of bad memories there. Some good ones, but it would be nice to sort of axe that memory off my mind and turn that around and have some good memories there next week. It's a tough place to play, a neat place to play. It's an enjoyable environment for the most part, but it's time to get a win down there, and I'd love to see it happen next week.
Second down, 10 yards to go for the Wildcats, heading towards Jackson Square. Garza's going to go deep. Right sideline pass, incomplete. Intending it down the sideline. A little bit overthrown and incomplete. It'll bring up for the Wildcats now third down, 10 yards to go.
Couple of Oak Ridge deep passes, David. They're just an inch or two away. It's just a tiny bit more air on the ball. Oak Ridge could have completed 2 or 3 more of those long passes.
29-10, the Wildcats in the lead. Oak Ridge has Elijah Rogers in the ball game right now, so that's a good thing. As well, along with Jai Hunley, they're split out to the left side for the Wildcats. One lone man to the right. Garza, third down, 10 yards to go. Rolls to his left again. Lots of pressure. Floats one out here at the 40-yard line. Passes incomplete, and the Wildcats will be forced to punt. We have not seen Garza roll out as much as he has in the last 2 plays. It'll be fourth down, and Brennan Pearson will come in and punt the ball away.
It's only thing that is bad about that. Obviously, you always want to score every time you have the ball. You always want to get first downs. But beyond that, Oak Ridge really didn't run any clock off that drive because of the incompletions. I'd love to have see them at least take a little bit more time, but no need to fret. Rhea County's offense is up to bat, and they will surely take off some time unless Oak Ridge gives up one of those big plays. Oak Ridge struggling to get the right unit on the field as Vashon Knowles a little bit late coming into here for this punt. They're going to be
the Wildcats, as I've said, have had trouble this week, and they're going to have a delay a game call. What the problem is, honestly, is they have had such weird practices all week. Like I said to you earlier, I think on Tuesday they had 20 different players out of practice because of the flu and 10 starters. So I think that's probably the problem. But it is a 5-yard step off, and we'll punt. Fourth down, 15 yards to go. Good snap. Pressure. The kick is away. Great by Brennan Pearson. It's going to take a nice Oak Ridge bounce. Going to roll at around the 30, still going, and will be down at around the 28-yard line. Brennan Pearson, as you have said, is a weapon for the Wildcats.
He is, and, if you just look at 2 things, Rhea County's return man tonight and also their blockers, once they chase after the kick, really no urgency to turn around and block. I don't think Rhea County has had any intention on returning punts all night. Even if they would have had some opportunities, I don't think they have any intention of doing so.
11:18 to play in the ball game, 29-10. The Wildcats come out, and they're going to come in the I formation, it appears this time. They'll split out a single receiver to the left. When they were in the I formation, Caleb Martin, their quarterback, had moved to a receiver position. They've been running the wing T for 1,000 years down there. They went the last 3 games in the I formation. Maybe they think their best bet is to throw out of it, and let's see if they actually do that.
Well, we've got another mysterious stoppage, David.
They point towards Rhea County, so they're going to step off 5 yards from them. So I don't know where this officiating crew is from, and I'm not saying they're doing a bad job, but this is a big penalty. They're going to back it up all the way inside the 20-yard line. We didn't even have a play. So it'll be for the Golden Eagles. The ball all the way back now, way on back to around the 14-yard line.
And I never saw a flag. I don't know.
Well, here they come. First down, 10 yards to go. Quarterback's going to hand it off, and they're going to be hit at the line of scrimmage. It'll be hardly any gain at all. Their offense is absolutely abysmal. I mean, it is just hard to watch.
Yeah, it is, and it's one of those situations, like you said, when you run this type of offense, when you get down by more than one possession, it's really, really hard to stay in the game because the defense starts to tee off on what you're doing, especially when you really don't have any sort of threat to throw it. And, David, I know you got a little upset with me earlier about my officiating talk. If I could say something after this play, I'd like to.
Go right ahead. Second down, 9 yards to go. Quarterback under center, hands it off to the tailback, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage. He has no place to go. I think they can throw the ball. That's my whole point here. Okay, you're down 29-10, and you're down 19 points. Your season is on the line. You're only getting 1 yard, 2 yards here. You're like in this game against Bearden. You're keeping the score down, but you're going to lose the ball game.
Well, that was a shot at my sophomore year, but you're right. There's just not a lot of urgency for this team right now.
They do try to throw a pass there, and it's a short one. It's incomplete, and it'll be fourth down. I'll go comment there, Mr. Myers.
You know, you got to take shots every now and then. My thought on the officiating was, you know, as officials, you're taught typically to act professional, be professional, and even though there's going to be times you throw a flag or you call a foul in basketball, whatever the sport is, there are going to be times when you're unsure, but you have to project the confidence, have to project that professionalism, because if you don't, even if it's a good call, people are going to think it's not, and people are going to think you don't know what you're doing. And these guys got off on the wrong foot when before the game even started, as a punt's going to go down to the 42-yard line and roll down to the Oak Ridge 37, where they will take over possession. But, David, they got off on the wrong foot, in my mind, because before the game's even started, we're waiting and delaying kickoff because the official's running late. And that's my point. It's not that they've just been the worst officiating crew I've ever seen, but it's just a bad look, some of the things that have gone on tonight. So I just wanted to explain why I was complaining, I guess.
Well, the Wildcats are going to have it at the 38-yard line. 9:47 to play in somebody's season here. The Wildcats are up 29-10, trying to beat Rhea County for the third consecutive time. The Wildcats all-time are 10-1. Loss coming here in 2000. Here comes Oak Ridge to the line. Two receivers split. As Jai Hunley in the backfield. The tight end is Brian Kelly. He's been sick all week. Garza only practiced yesterday. Here comes the Wildcats. Might have been an illegal procedure, but Jai's going to get the run to the 40, 35, 50, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Jai Hunley into the end zone. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. I don't see a flag. I thought Kelly actually hit the line of scrimmage too soon. It's going to be another touchdown for Jai Hunley, and he's having quite a night here tonight at Blankenship Field.
Easily his best night of the year, and what a night to have it. Gamers come up in big games, and that's exactly what Jai Hunley has done here tonight. You mentioned DeJavis Dozier, who's really been Oak Ridge's best back statistically all year. Tonight he comes in a little banged up, and there is zero drop-off when Hunley has come in there and taken the load. Boy, he has looked really good, and for a powerful runner, he's got nice top-end speed, doesn't he?
Most definitely, as David Wilson's about to attempt the extra point. Looking at the Rhea County fans, it's almost like they expected this to happen, and maybe they're a little put out with the way their team, I don't know, the way their style is. It's just not fun to watch as David Wilson's kick is up, and David Wilson's kick, it is good. The Wildcats lead Rhea County 36-10. They're headed to the second round of the playoffs, probably at McMinn County. We'll be back with the Wildcat kickoff in 60 seconds.
Yard touchdown. A 62-yard touchdown by Jai.
Thank you.
Well, the pressure seems to be off the Wildcats now. They're up by a score of 36-10 as Brennan Pearson prepares to kick off the Wildcats. Here it is. He hits it well, end over end kick, and that is going to be another touchback. Alex, your thoughts so far? Great second half of the Wildcats.
Great second half, 62-yard run, Mike Sheehan tells me, by Jai Hunley for the touchdown right there. I've liked that Oak Ridge has really gotten the ball in their playmakers' hands. You know, whether it was the pass earlier to Elijah Rogers, whether it was a pass to Brandon Hayward, or just running the ball with your talented running backs. I mean, it's not always big plays. It's just a matter of getting these players the ball in their hands with the position to make plays, and they've done that. Defensively, not much to say. You just look up on the scoreboard and say, hey, this team has done an excellent job.
First down, 10 yards to go from the 20-yard line, and they're going to get stuck there by Elijah Rogers right at around the 25-yard line, so it's a gain of 5. 9 minutes, 15 seconds to play in the ball game. 36-10, Oak Ridge on top of the Golden Eagles. So this will be 3 times in a row that Oak Ridge has beaten Rhea County, and we're headed down to, it looks like McMinn County. Walker Valley and Carnes ball game score just a moment ago as the handoff goes for about 4 yards, maybe 5, and I think they have a first down as they move the ball to the 30, but no sense of urgency. They're just going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball and run the clock out and go head on back to Evansville.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's almost like they're just content with this. I mean, like you said, there just wasn't a lot of fight. And I almost say that as much from the coaching staff's perspective as the players, because the play calling, I don't know if they just don't trust their quarterback, but he looks like he could play if they give him an opportunity.
Handoff goes for good yardage that way, right up the gut, moving the ball to the 40-yard line, but precious time ticking away for the Golden Eagles. And I don't know, look at their fans across the way there. It's almost like, oh, well, ho-hum, we expected to lose, we're going to lose.
Yeah, but I don't know. I would have a hard time sitting idly by. I mean, they're not even hurrying to the play. I mean, they're still letting 15, 20 seconds tick off the play clock. I mean, just not a lot of fight.
Barry Wortman against Bearden. I'm telling you, there's a nice stick by the Wildcats. Elijah Bradley right at the line of scrimmage. So I don't know. You remember that Bearden ball game? I know we was kind of Bearden was better than us at that particular year, but I remember we just held the ball. Even when we had shots, we held the ball, and we lost the game. And, you know, you can execute the game plan completely perfect, but if you lose the ball game, what's the point?
I agree with you partially there, David, and I had a front row seat on the bench, so I remember that as good as anyone, and I'll finish your comparison after this play.
Second down, 9 yards to go. They move the ball across the 5-yard line up to the 46, where it'll be third down facing Rhea County, but 7:17 to play. Go ahead.
Yeah, the difference between that Bearden game is we were out-talented, much like Rhea County is tonight. The difference is because it's basketball and we held the ball, it was ugly. It was not fun to watch or be a part of, but the game was close late. And so you can at least say Oak Ridge had a shot late. Rhea County's been out of this ball game since the second quarter as they advanced past the chains for a first down. Rhea County really not past the first quarter, but here in the second half when Oak Ridge took that opening kickoff and moved down the field and scored, at that point, if Rhea County was going to be in the game and remain in it, they had to score. And they just weren't aggressive. And once it started to get away, they never made an adjustment. The difference in that Bearden game is the game was so low scoring, it was really never out of hand.
First and 10, they're going to hand the ball off, and the stop is made right at the 45-yard line. We have another flag down the play. There's 6 minutes, 23 seconds left in Rhea County's season. The Wildcats are on top 36-10.
Yeah, Oak Ridge had 12 guys on the field. LaMichael Galloway trying to get off the field. Couldn't do it in time. There's still confusion as Oak Ridge still has 12 guys on the field, and finally they're going to get that 12th man on.
I see Coach Ayers not too happy about that. I think Tyler Pickens was the extra guy the Wildcats had on the field. 6:23 to play. We'll have player interviews down on the field after the ball game is complete. 36-10. The Wildcats headed to McMinn County. Despite the last couple times that you're remembering us going down there, the Wildcats have absolutely dominated the series, except these last few years. The Wildcats and McMinn counties have been playing since the 40s, and Oak Ridge has dominated the series. Caleb Martin's going to hand it off again, looking for running room and moving the ball for a gain of about 3, but we're down to 6 minutes to go in their season. You know, as the Wildcats headed to the second round. So last year we got beaten the first round by a very good McMinn County team, but we were a lower seed last year. We're the second seed. We earned the home, and the Wildcats taking advantage of it. It wasn't a pretty first quarter, but like you said, Oak Ridge has been the game since the second quarter. Play clock down to 25. It'll be for them. Third down. Handoff goes for the running back, and he moves the ball forward, but it's only a short gain. 2 or 3 yards. That's Odom on the carry once again. 5:39 to play in the game. The clock is ticking away for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, just mercilessly, you know. And you look at that McMinn County game, they're 9-2 on the year, up 32-7 the last I checked. So sort of a very similar score it's going to end up being as ours against Campbell County. That looks to be on paper a pretty good matchup, an interesting one next week.
And they're just continuing to hand the ball off here. I guess they assume this game is in the Wildcats' hands. The Elijah Rogers, he's made a ton of tackles tonight, actually more tackles than he normally does. Let's check some of the players in there. The Wildcats have, looks like Holman's in there, Waters is in there, and Elijah Bradley's limping out of the ball game. He's okay, though. Tyler Pickens is in the ball game. The secondary has been solid all night because they're not got to be bored to death. Hand off to the running back again, and he's going to be tackled from the backside by Vashawn Knowles. He moves the ball up to the 21-yard line. There's 4 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the ball game with the Wildcats on top 36-10. Headed to the second round.
Nehemiah Elmore in there at the defensive backfield. Most of the starters, probably 80% of the starters still in right now, but Oak Ridge starting to filter in slowly but surely some of the substitutes. And knock on wood, this team is going to come out of here fairly healthy out of this first-round ball game, I think.
Terrence Anthony still in the ball game. Here's a nice run, though, all the way down to the 10-yard line. Wildcats have Brian Kelly in the ball game. 4 minutes and 9 seconds to play. It's a first down for the Golden Eagles. Incidentally, all touchdowns scored this year by the Wildcats are sponsored by the Oak Ridge High School class of 1989. We appreciate them being one of our sponsors for all of our touchdowns this year. 3:57 to play. It'll be first down for them, and they'll hand it off, and hardly anything there. The Wildcats pushing back at the line of scrimmage. The stop is made again by the Wildcats, and it looks like it's going to be Terrence Anthony for Oak Ridge. We're down to 3 minutes, 39 seconds to play. It is now for them at the 21-yard line. Second down and 9 yards to go. Second down goal to go at the 9.
Just for a moment of pride, you'd love Oak Ridge to be able to hold this team here out of the end zone, but I'm sure they're going to try to fight too.
Of course, Rhea County has a little pride. They won their first round playoff game last year against Carnes, you might recall, before losing to Powell. We're down to 3:05 to play in the ball game. The ball is at the 6-yard line. It is now third down, goal to go at the 6, 36-10. Oak Ridge in the lead over the Rhea County Golden Eagles. We have his sickness on our staff too. We are missing some of our camera guys and some of our crew. Hopefully they'll be back next week. Shout out goes to Matthew Jewell listening to our broadcast here tonight as Rhea County rolls to the end zone. And let's see, I believe they do have a touchdown. Not a very pretty signal by the officials. The officials look pretty bored themselves.
I'm telling you, I've said what I need to be said. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, David, on that subject.
So they'll go for an extra point here. They trail now 36-16 with 2 minutes and 36 seconds to play in the ball game. So despite the fact the Wildcats were shorthanded all week, as they go for the extra point, the kick is on its way. It's up, and it is good. 2:36 to play, 36-17 the score. Despite the fact that Oak Ridge was without most of their team during the course of the week, the Wildcats have prevailed in the second half, and they've, as they say, survived and advanced. Alex Myers will be heading down to the field to do some interviews here in a bit. We'll be speaking to Coach Scott Cummings. We'll have Mike Sheehan doing the scoring summary. We'll have player interviews down on the field. Jai Hunley will be a good choice. Jai's had a great ball game. He's one of the best speakers on the team for sure. Of course, we'll have the statistics and a lot more, and we'll talk about the bracket and who's moving on and who is not. 2:36 to play in the ball game. The Wildcats are going to be receiving the kick. We'll see if Coach Pemberton is going to be aggressive and go for an onside kick and try to win the ball game, or if he's going to continue to concede it.
I would not be surprised to see him boot this based off what we've seen.
Well, he's teed it up at the center of the X, and he'll be kicking off to the Wildcats, who have one lone man back, and the Wildcats have their good hands people up on the line anticipating an onside kick. But if he hits it in the middle part there, and here it is, that onside kick, and it's going to be easily fielded by the Wildcats. They kicked it to a guy who has great hands, Elisha Rogers, and the Wildcats will have it. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the Oak Ridge 49-yard line. This Rhea County team, by far, is not the best Rhea County team we've seen over the last several years.
No, they definitely aren't, David. I'm really surprised they haven't played as well as I thought they would as a whole year. They were only 2-8 coming in. Now they're getting ready to be 2-9, and the Wildcats going to walk away with a first-round playoff victory here, leading 36-17 with only 2:33, and we've got the ball.
And Peyton Sharp's going to come in at quarterback for the first time since he was injured in an off-field incident, and he's going to take over at quarterback. First down, 10 yards to go at the 48-yard line. The Wildcats, I believe, are going to be called for delay of game. It's going to be another delay of game penalty against the Wildcats, I think. The clock was down to 0, and that'll be 5 seconds off the clock. Happens a lot to the Wildcats. It's good to have Peyton back out there, though. He's missed, I guess, the last 5 ball games, and he's going to be in the shotgun with 3 receivers split to his right. Ball's at the 44-yard line, 36-17, Oak Ridge in the lead. Looks like there's movement on the right side of the line again for the Wildcats. It hasn't been a thing of beauty right now here, Mike.
No, it doesn't have. They're a little bit out of sync, especially right now. 2 back-to-back penalties to start this drive. You know, that's 10 yards going the wrong direction. It seems like we stay behind the chains more than any team I've ever witnessed in a long time.
First down, 20 yards to go. Now at the 39-yard line. Peyton barks the play out. Will Presley split to the left of the quarterback. 3 receivers to the right, including Elmonte Rimbert. Now he comes in motion for the Wildcats. Peyton is going to move the ball up the field, moves the ball across the 45, and is tackled at around the 48-yard line. Good to have Peyton. He had a broken wrist, basically a bone in his hand was broken, and just got the cast off a week or so ago, and it's good to have him back with us. Second down and 11 yards to go. The ball is at the 48-yard line. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to play. The Wildcats are advancing to the second round. They are going to beat Rhea County. The score right now is 36-17. Alex is headed down to the field. He'll have the interviews after the ball game. Presley split to the left. Connor Cummings is a receiver split to the far right. Peyton Sharp is the quarterback from the shotgun. From the 48, Peyton's going to throw it. Fires a pass. It's going to be caught by Will Presley at the 45-yard line, and the freshman is tackled at that point. It'll be third down facing the Wildcats.
Well, that was just a really good pass, David. Presley did a good job of hauling the ball in. The defender was right there to make the tackle, so he couldn't quite get the first down. Brings up now third down and 2 for the Wildcats.
Pendergrass, Cummings, and Rimbert split to the far right. The Wildcats, third down, 3 yards to go. The Javis Dozier in the backfield. The ball at the Rhea County 44. Peyton Sharp's going to hand it to Javis. Javis has the run to the 39-yard line, and that is going to be a 10-bank of Oak Ridge first down. And right at the minute mark to go in the ball game, minute 3 to play in the game, 36-17. The Wildcats headed for the second round of the playoffs. And, you know, you might not have played your best ball, and I think Rhea County had a lot to do with that, their style, as we've been talking about. But you're still going to advance, and it's still a win at home in front of the Wildcat home crowd, which was not big tonight, but the Wildcats are advancing, and that's all we care about.
That's exactly right. They made some really good defensive changes in the second quarter to get back in this game, and now they pulled away, David.
Peyton takes the snap and has to fall on it back at the 40-yard line, and that is going to be the final play of this ball game. Oak Ridge wins at 36-17. Mike, while we wait for the post-game interviews, why don't you go ahead and start the scoring summary?
Okay, thank you very much, David. Start this game off, the Wildcats really got in good shape when Jarvis Dozier ran one in from 32 yards out on a 3-play drive for the Wildcats to put the Wildcats up 6-0, and with 4 minutes and 55 seconds left in the first quarter. Then David Wilson came in and kicked it all between the upright, and the Wildcats led 7-0. There was no more scores in the first quarter. They just battled back and forth. And then in the second quarter, with 9 minutes and 18 seconds left, they ran the Rhea County ran one in from 1 yard out, and they went up. They got on the board 7-6. Then Cole Ruling came in and kicked the ball between the upright, and the score was tied 7-7. Then there was one more score in the second quarter when Jai Hunley ran one off right tackle for a 48-yard burst right up the middle all the way to the end zone for the Wildcats, put the Wildcats up 14-7. Then the Wildcats lined up in the regular kicking formation. Instead of hiking the ball to the place kicker, they hiked it to Brandon Hayward, who ran it in for the 2-point conversion, and the Wildcats went up 15-7. And then in the third quarter, they lined up for a 35-yard field goal, they being Rhea County, but it fell short, and the halftime score was Oak Ridge 15, Rhea County 7. Then in the third quarter, to open things up, Cole Ruling came in for a 39-yard field goal for Rhea County and put them back on the board with 3 more points. So they only trailed 15-10, Wildcats leading. But then just a few moments later, with 3:22 left in the third quarter, Jai Hunley ran a 18-yard touchdown in for the Wildcats, put them up 20-10. Then David Wilson came in and kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Wildcats led 22-10. Then a 43-yard pass from Ethan Garza to Eli Rogers put the Wildcats up 28-10 on a 43-yard pass, which was a great play for the Wildcats and really started putting the pressure on Rhea County, leading 29-10 after David Wilson's kick was good. Then in the fourth quarter, the Wildcats had a 62-yard touchdown run by Jai Hunley and went ahead to stay ahead 35-10. David Wilson came in and kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Wildcats walk away with a huge victory after Rhea County scored one more time with 2:36 left in the ball game on a 3-yard touchdown run, and the Wildcats walk away with a victory 36-17 here from Blankenship Field, a first-round playoff win for the Wildcats. And what a great game it was.
Thanks a lot, Mike. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Alex Myers will have player interviews and Coach Cummings. The Wildcats win it 36-17. We'll be back to Blankenship Field with the rest of our postgame show in 60 seconds. David Clary back here at Blankenship Field, getting set for the post-game show here. We're getting ready to go down to the field to Alex Myers. And we'll see if he gets ready, if he has somebody to go. Alex, are you ready to go?
Ready as I'll ever be, David. I'm here with Jai Hunley now. He'll be who we talk to first. I know he's got a little fan club he's dealing with over here. Oh, he's got to put the chapstick on. He's got to make sure he's fresh for the radio and TV interview. Jai, first off, congratulations. Anytime you win, it's a reason to celebrate. But like Coach was saying, playoff wins, you got to celebrate those a little bit more, don't you?
Sir, it's a different type of win when you know that next week is not promised for sure, for sure. I might say that's a slogan all the time, that next week's not promised, motivating us to do our best every week. But it's reality right now.
This backfield for you guys, it's really a three-pronged attack, at times four with quarterbacks running, but between Almani, between you, Dozier, it doesn't really matter which one of you it is. Any of you can take it to the house at any given time. It's been to Jarvis the later half of this season a lot of times. Tonight, it was you. How did that feel tonight? Because you were running like your legs were on fire.
Yes, sir. I just give all glory to God for sure. It's just some games we have bad games. Dozier has a good game, I have a bad game. I have a good game, he has a bad game. Sometimes I give all glory to God for that. I just ask that. I always tell Dozier, I block for you, you block for me, and whoever scores. But at the end of the day, if me and him have a good game, we still lose the game. It really doesn't matter much.
Well, you guys had a good game, and you won the game. What did it mean to do it here at Blankenship here for so many seniors?
It meant a lot knowing that I've seen seniors leave all 4 years. Now it's my turn. That it's winner or go home. And it just meant a lot knowing that my last time going down those 72 steps, and we came with a dub. So that just means a lot.
McMinn County, I don't know how much experience you have with them. I know last year that's where the season ended. How much extra motivation does that give you guys, the senior class in particular, on wanting a little revenge next week?
A different motivation for a senior class. The underclassmen don't know what it felt like last year to go out first round. We have a different level of revenge, and it's definitely personal.
Hey, thank you so much. Congratulations on a big night.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take it right into Vashon Knowles as Emmett Branson is running through the camera. Hey, Emmett, Coach Branson's one of his sons. Vashon Knowles joining me now. Vashon, you're a junior, but you play with these seniors, you go to class with them. You know what this meant to be able to host a game. It wasn't guaranteed before last week. Being able to host a game, but then come out and win it. How special was that?
It was special because I know that this is the seniors' last ride, and I really want to get it for them. Like, we want to get to state, we want to win it all, because this team just means the world to me, you know.
Something interesting that happened is David Clary was talking on the broadcast at the beginning of the game, talking about how this team typically runs that wing T sort of funky offense. So the last several weeks they've been running out of the I formation. When they came out, obviously I'm sure it caught you guys off guard a little bit, but it didn't seem like it took Coach Ayers and this defense a long time to adjust. After a couple of big plays early, you guys stiffened up and really held tight all night. What went into that sort of change as you guys had to adjust mid-game?
So pretty much, we pretty much ran this same thing we would have run if they were an I, but we just had it more condensed because they're in wing T. The different adjustments throughout the game, just it helped us clog up the running game a little bit more. Even though it caught us off guard at first, we came back and got them.
You certainly did. And how fun is that? You sort of play, some people might think it's a defensive end. It's sort of an outside linebacker, defensive end hybrid. How fun is it when you know basically before the ball is snapped, it's going to be a run? How you get to tee off a little bit? Is that kind of fun, kind of almost knowing a little bit of what's coming?
Yeah, pretty much the whole game. Since I was on the right side, they had a tight end over there. He was pretty much blocking down, or they were doing he was trying to reach me or something. So I knew that either way, I'm just going to run through him, or if he blocks down, I'm going to go straight off his hip and try to make the tackle. And the rest of the team, we all stood tall and gave him what we did.
Now, you don't know. I know you got some family here watching you during the interview. I'm sure they were very proud of you playing as they have been all season. You may not know a lot about McMinn County. You probably haven't done a lot of scouting on them, but you know more than just about anybody about your team, about the Oak Ridge Wildcats this year. What do you know is going to go into this week of preparation as you get set for a second-round matchup?
I think we're going to fix the errors that we had this game, like offensive side, a little bit blocking, defensive side, different run fits and stuff, because that's what we got to do.
Okay, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Of course.
And I see Coach Cummings. He doesn't see me, but we will just go over and walk up to him. I don't know if Coach Cummings has just a moment. Coach, you have a moment. I know it's not your favorite thing, but it's at least more fun, I'm assuming, when we win, right? So you told your team. You told your team you celebrate any win. You've done that all season, but you mentioned to them, you said, hey, it's a playoff win. We got to celebrate that and enjoy it a little extra. Why is that so important to you?
You know, wins in the playoffs don't come often, and, I know Rhea County's record wasn't great, but you got to understand, like, the last 3 weeks they've been in an I formation, and then I told the coaches all week, I said, I'm telling you, they're going to put 12 back at quarterback, and they're going to be back in their wing T stuff. And it happened. And so I was really pleased with the adjustments that we made.
Talk about those adjustments, because that's what we were talking on the broadcast. It's so impressive with Coach Ayers and that staff and the players as well, as how quickly you could see at the first few plays weren't quite ready, but very, very quickly they adjusted and found their rhythm defensively.
Yeah, I mean, overall we were the better team, so that's what I told the kids before the game. When we saw in pregame warm-ups what they were doing, went in and told the kids, guys, they're going to get something early on us because it takes you a minute to settle in against this offense and see it and feel it and trust your eye. When the play goes away, understand it's coming back to you and all that. And we had to go from our game plan, which was a bear front, 2-3 techniques or whatever. And then we had to make an adjustment, second series, third series, get back out in our traditional defense and put our ends back in head up to tackles. But then you got to guard against the guard trap stuff. But our kids started triggering on it, found it, did a great job. And two, the other thing is, as we've talked about before, like we had 21 guys out of practice on Wednesday, 10 starters. So, Ethan Garza didn't practice until yesterday. And that was very little walk, it was more of a walkthrough setting. So he was going to be rusty and miss some stuff that we practiced all week, but those types of things, Rhea County gets some credit defensively. They did some good things against us and made us work for it.
Real quickly, before I wrap things up, on the offensive side, you got to mention Jai Hunley, right? If there's a player of the game, it's got to be him. 3 touchdowns, well over 100 yards. I don't know what the final stats were, but I can tell you passes the eye test. It was a great night for him. How happy are you for a senior at home? Been shaken up a little bit at times this year to have that type of performance in the playoff.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what those two got to understand, right? Him and Jarvis, like sometimes it's both of them. Sometimes, they play about equally at that position. Sometimes Jarvis is the guy that has more stats, and tonight was Jai's time. We handed him the ball a couple of times on the very first play. He takes it to the house, right? So, but they're great teammates, and sometimes it's great to have that two-headed monster. I can tell you that, though.
For sure. Last thing, going forward to next week, how long do you celebrate tonight's? And then what do you got to do to prepare and be able to come out and compete with the very, very good team in Min County on the road next week?
Man, they are. We had film. We had them on film versus Rhea County. And, man, they are big up front. They are big. And not just big, they're big and can move. They can run. It's going to be a huge challenge. Bo Cagle down there, their head coach, and those guys, they do a great job of really doing what they do and doing it really well. There's not going to be a ton of secrets about what each team's going to do. It's just going to be, our preparation for what they do, knowing what they do, but they're going to try to be better at it than the other team can prepare for it in 1 week. And to answer your first part of that, we're going to celebrate it tonight and, start watching film tomorrow and then watch the UT game and then be back here Sunday for about 7 hours.
Fortunately, you got about 72 steps you've got to walk up before you can start that celebration, so I'll let you go ahead and start.
Gosh, that's a lot. Can you carry me?
I was sore earlier walking up, so I feel you. Congrats, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much. Ethan Garza walking by. He had another good game. Let's give it to David Clary. I'll toss it back to you in the treehouse.
Thanks a lot. We're going to take a break here. Mark's not quite done with the statistics. 36-17 is the final score. The Wildcats headed to take on the McMinn County Cherokees. One little quick update. The last scoring update I got with the Carnes Walker Valley ball game, it was tied 14-14 going to overtime, and Pals won their ball game, and we'll talk more about scores later. Let's take a quick break. Mark Hayes will have the stats in a moment. We'll be back with those following this 2-minute timeout.
Yes, I'm right here. I can get some. Mark, are you done? Yes, he's done. Okay, we'll come back to you, Mark. I know he doesn't have a mic yet, and Alex not back up here, David.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
it is.
We'll talk.
I think he is. But yeah, we could talk a few moments.
Okay.
You know how to change it?
Oh, I don't. Trying to change the score right now on our internet thing. Okay, I'll listen to you. I got my... Good idea.
Welcome back once again to Blankenship Field. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge win the ball game 36-17. That was the final score. The Wildcats now 51-10 all time in home playoff ball games. Mike.
That's an outstanding record, David. It's a very good football team. And glad to see Coach Scott come and make those great adjustments he did to get back in this ball game and come away with a big victory. As now, Mark Hayes is here, join me now, and he's ready for his pre-game, post-game, statistics.
Thank you very much, Mike. Leading the Wildcats on the ground was Jai Hunley. He had a fantastic night with 3 touchdowns. He had 9 rushes for 149 yards. His long tonight was 62 yards. That's an average of 16.6 yards per carry. DeJalvis Dozier, 10 carries, 63 yards. That's an average of 6.3 yards per carry. His long was 29 yards. Peyton Sharp came in late for the Wildcats. He carried the ball twice, netting 8 yards. Alamani Rembert had a 7-yard carry, and Vashawn Knowles carried the ball for 5 yards. So as a team, the Wildcats carried the ball 23 times, totaling 232 yards on the ground. That's an average of 10.1 yards per carry. I think that's what it was basically in the first half too. So very consistent offensive rushing yards for the Wildcats. Through the air, starting quarterback Ethan Garza, he was 6 of 14 for 151 yards. He did have an interception on the night. His long was 43 yards. Peyton Sharp came in late. He was 1 of 1 for 8 yards. So as a team, the Wildcats passing, they were 7 of 15 for 159 yards with 1 interception. Receiving for the Wildcats, they were led by Elijah Rogers. He had 93 yards on 3 receptions. His long was 43 yards. Brandon Hayward, 2 receptions for 52 yards. Will Presley had an 8-yard reception, and Alamani Rembert had a 6-yard reception. So looking at the team as a whole, Wildcats, 232 yards on the ground on 23 carries. They had 159 yards through the air on 7 receptions for a total offense tonight of 391 yards. Wildcats earned 8 first downs in the ballgames. They were penalized 12 times for 100 yards, and their time of possessions was 14 minutes and 16 seconds. Now looking at Rhea County, they were led on the ground by, no surprise, Caleb Odell. He had a great night. He had 137 yards on 33 carries. His long was only 12 yards, so very consistent runner. He was averaging 4.2 yards per carry. Chauncey Odom, he carried the ball 12 times for the Golden Eagles for 94 yards. His long was a 40-yard run. Bryson Davis, 5 carries, netting 2 yards. And Caleb Martin, quarterback for the Golden Eagles, he carried the ball 4 times, netting -9 yards. So as a team, the Rhea County Golden Eagles rushed the ball 54 times for 224 yards. That's an average of 4.1 yards per carry. Quarterback Caleb Martin, he was 1 of 2 for 31 yards tonight. His long, obviously, was that 31-yard pass to Trent Edwards. So, looking at Rhea County as a team, they had 224 yards on the ground on 54 carries. They had 31 yards through the air on 1 reception for a total offense tonight of 255 yards. They had 13 first downs in the ballgame, penalized 6 times for 50 yards. Their time of possession, 33 minutes and 44 seconds. So looking at the team side by side, on the ground, Oak Ridge 232, Rhea County 224, very even. Through the air, big difference, Oak Ridge 159, Rhea County 31. Total offense, Oak Ridge with 391 total offensive yards, Rhea County 255. First downs, Oak Ridge had 8, Rhea County had 13. Penalties, Oak Ridge 12 for 100. Rhea County 6 for 50 in time of possession. Big difference here. Oak Ridge had the ball 14 minutes and 16 seconds. Rhea County 33 minutes and 44 seconds. So basically the Wildcats had the ball less than a third of the ball game. So final score tonight, Oak Ridge victorious in round 1 of the TSSAA playoffs in 4A. They defeat Rhea County 36-17. Mike?
Great job, Mark. Thank you very much for those stats. And as always, the hardest job in the whole place, him and Shauna, his wife, do a super job with his statistics. As the Wildcats walk away with a victory, 36-17. I'm joined now by Alec Myers. Alec, what do you think about this ball game?
Well, I mean, you've heard a lot from me, so I won't take long, but you know, an ugly game, but it's said in basketball in March, and it's true in football and any sport, really. If you win, doesn't matter, right? Survive and advance. I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty. So, and we say win ugly. It really wasn't an ugly win from Oak Ridge's standpoint. It wasn't pretty, but they looked pretty darn good after the start of the second quarter. You know, they just came out a little slow. The crowd wasn't really into it. It was sort of a dull environment, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Both teams kind of did. But really, after that first quarter, Oak Ridge looked pretty good. And, you know, they got a lot of stuff to clean up, and they'll need to beat a good team next week. But I'm with Coach Cummings here. You know, this is a team you need to celebrate this playoff win. You know, they're not guaranteed. And Oak Ridge, you know, maybe they do come more often than a lot of places, but a playoff win is a playoff win, and I don't care what the score is. You know, and we pretty much, well, we more than doubled them up. So I'll celebrate it, and I'll feel good about it going forward. But, yeah, you?
Oh, absolutely. You know, those adjustments they made there in the first quarter because of the realignment for the wing tee, it took them just a little while, maybe a quarter and a half, but, boy, did they come back strong after that. They really put a slam on them. And for them to only score 17 points, yeah, that's just a great output by the defense. And that really, they only scored 10. They didn't score till way late. By then, we were substituting a lot of folks, not making any excuses. They did drive the ball down the field on the Wildcats, and they did score. But it was too little too late by then. And you know, anytime you double the score on a team, you've had an excellent outing. and I thought the Wildcats executed well on offense. They're looking tough. I mean, to have had so much sickness this past week, I mean, I really didn't realize how bad it was till I was watching the show Wednesday night and knew there was some problems with health, but I didn't know it was as bad as it was. And for all these players to come back and try to play, 4 quarters on a Friday night, it's tough in a playoff round. But, this team has come through with some adverse situations, especially they've had a lot of injuries this year, but they've overcame it. They've got in the playoffs, and now they've won their first playoff game, and I hope they can go sky high into McMinn County next week and play tough and hard, because they're going to have a hard challenge against them. You heard Coach Cummins talk about how big their line is and how strong they are, how fast they are. And anytime you're in the playoffs, it gets tougher every week, Alec.
Absolutely. And one thing that's tough, speaking of tough, it's tough to get me to stop talking. So before I start, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to David Clary across the way. David.
36-17 is the final score. We appreciate all of the people who made our broadcast possible. We're going to close it out here, guys. You all had a nice little post-game interview there. Our next broadcast of Oak Ridge High School football will be coming up on Friday as the Wildcats take on the McMinn County Cherokees. 7 o'clock will be the kickoff. We'll be on FM 92.7, FM 94.7, prepradio.com, and Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15. I hesitate to say anything about the streaming at this point. We might have to raise some more money for that. Appreciate Josh Frazier, Drew Thomas, along with Andy Hudson and Alex Baraxa doing our camera work. We appreciate Mike and Alex as well, and Brian Bennett back at the studios. 36-17, the final score. The Wildcats headed to the second round. Thanks for tuning us in. Until next week, this is David Clary for all the people I mentioned. So long, everybody.